see all the flags, not only the sponsors, but all the countries that are being represented in the bleachers as well as on the track. So in just a little bit, in just a moment, we'll go live. Tell your friends, FormulaD.com/live for round one of the Formula Drift Championship, the AutoZone Streets of Long Beach, presented by Type S Auto.
I should be televised, headline and main event. Maybe that's for starters when we at the party. My middle name should be after party, yo. Last name Woo, first name Wow. You ain't getting to it, I'm hanging up, don't wanna hang out. Wrong time, right place, baby, watch out. It's about to go down like a knockout. Here we go again. Here we go again.
Welcome to the streets of Long Beach. Look at that. It is a beautiful day here in Southern California. That's right. This is the AutoZone Streets of Long Beach presented by Type S Auto. That is the water, but we're going to make waves of our own. We are live on this turn 9, 10, and 11 of this iconic track that is holding the IndyCar race for numerous years, but we've made history of our own over the years. Now we are going into our knockout qualifying, and what's going to happen here is every vehicle will have one run. One vehicle, or some of the vehicles, will have one run and done, but we'll take the bottom 8 drivers, we'll re-rack them and stack them to see if they make it in the top 32 show. So as we see, again, Casual Friday, I'm Jared Deenda, and look, Ryan, same name, has a little more hair. He's from a different country, but Ryan Lontaine is doing double duty here. He's maintaining as a judge, but also you're going to be kind of my co-host throughout the season. So want to thank Ryan Sage for this opportunity. He stepped up as he's now president of Formula Drift. Jim Lau, his co-founder, has now moved positions over to PRI. He's still active with Formula Drift and kind of the whole board. But Ryan Lontaine, kind of exciting for you to be a judge, talk with us. I mean, your amount of education and information and insight, I think, is really great. Like I told Ryan Sage, kind of going straight to the horse's mouth. Not calling you a horse, but the judge giving your insight, I think, is really going to be impactful.
Yeah, and I'd like to point out, Jared, that this isn't an experiment that we're doing right now. This is something that Ryan and I did in Japan for years, where he would be you, basically, in Japan, and then I would be me. And we announced together throughout FD Japan for multiple rounds of competition over a few different years. So like I said, this isn't an experiment. It's something that is tried and tested and true. And I'm hoping that I can bring some insight into what the judges are thinking. Of course, we've got Brian and Chris here as well that will chime in from time to time when we need them. But overall, I'm just here to educate and try to bring everybody up to speed with what we're thinking at each track and give the fans and the drivers the best feedback we can.
It's all about education, insight. Obviously, like I always say, is, you know, actions speak louder than words. We just put an exclamation point on it. I would say that you bring more of a Wikipedia explanation on what you are looking at. All right, you can see our qualifying leaderboard. Obviously, Frederick Osbo will go first because he is our defending champion. But we're going to be seeing some new rookies that are going from Pro Spec to Pro and going across the pond. Let's list off these names here. You got Josh Love, Nick Novak, Mike Power in his S15. You got Daniel Stuckey, and coming all the way from New Zealand in a very exotic, interesting car. I know you're excited about this. You drive some exotic cars yourself. Darren Kelly from New Zealand. He's a 3-time champ. What do you make of those new faces in Pro?
Well, it's going to be exciting to see how the Pro Spec guys will step up here and perform. This is a brand new track for them. We've never done Pro Spec at this track, so that's brand new and exciting. And Kelly, of course, in that Aston Martin, it's phenomenal to see a car like that on the track. They were both parked out there yesterday, the Ferrari and the Aston Martin, and it was kind of a cool moment to see them both out there.
It's crazy, the progression. I mean, you think about the vehicles. I don't know if Aston Martin's top of the list. Regardless, Darren Kelly says, yep, I'm going to do it. Yep. Supercharged V12. And there it is, Frederick Osbo, your defending champion. And that's how the championship ended up there. You got Frederick Osbo, Matt Field, Odie Bakshis, Chelsea Denofa, right there sitting in fourth. But Frederick Osbo, now a two-time Formula Drift champion, it all came together for him, and it was what came down to just such an exciting Irwindale.
It really was, and he has some big shoes to fill this year. He's got a lot of drivers that are really chomping at the bit to get up to that top step of the podium at each round, but also for the entire season. So it's going to be a tough one for him again this year, but I'm sure that's their goal.
I mean, all the cars are leveling up. You know, that whole Toyota trio, or excuse me, the Quattro, right? Because Jonathan Castro, new engine, similar chassis to what he had, but new setup. Ryan Turk, more power, debuting that new GR Corolla, really cool. Not obviously all-wheel drive. We'll talk about that later. That's exciting. And of course, Ken Gush, you want to see him flourish. But our past champions have really, you know, just grown. And somebody, obviously, you know, that retired most recently, Vaughn Gittin Jr. You know, he's not here. He's in the stands.
Yep.
He's supporting his two-car team. But, you know, our former champs, you know, James Dean, I was DMing him. He's really excited. He wants to come back. I think, you know, hopefully we see him in 23. But there's some notable names. What stands out to you? Who's going to put it together here in 22, Ryan?
Well, last year we had so many drivers that were so close. Like you said, Chelsea Denofa, we had Matt Field, we had Odi Bakchis, that are all right there at the top. And they were all so close. They were probably all leading at some point last year, the championship, but it came down to Osbo. So we'll see how it works out this weekend.
So talking about champions, two former champions have parked it. Dai Yoshihara, he's here. He's actually spawning for another driver. And there was that big announcement. Vaughn announcing, he says it's not goodbye, it's see you later. That's what he keeps threatening. But Adam LZ now is behind the wheel of Ford Mustang. I think it's a great strategic move for both people, for the RTR team, as Vaughn has just grown and grown and grown. Again, a two-time champion himself. Took him 10 years in between. But LZ, with just all his notoriety, he's got a lot of fans here. He creates fanfare, but also he delivers. I mean, because, you know, when we had that condensed season, he was Rookie of the Year. I mean, so he doesn't come just like, hey, man, you're a cool YouTuber, you're a content creator, here's the keys. He needs to perform. So here's our Torque Drift course preview here. That is Matt Field riding that Vortex supercharged Falcon tire. Walk us through, Ryan.
Outside zone 1 now on driver's left there instead of a touch and go. This will be outside zone 2. I don't see drivers doing that kind of crazy angle every single time, but this is cool for a video game. That's going to be outside zone 3. Cars are to transition here to the touch and go, which they can't miss, and then inside clip 1. Inside clip 1's actually pushed quite a bit further into the track than it is in the game here, but that's essentially the track layout. And I think we're going to have the track map coming up next. You're going to see all the sectors that we have laid out on that track map. There are 5 sectors, the yellow, blue, kind of like a fuchsia, kind of a beige, and then purple. So that's the order they go in. We have more points this year for line and angle. So we actually have a full 40 points for line. First 3 sectors are 10 each, and then 5 and 5 for line. Angle is going to be 7, 7, 7, 4, and 5. So we're able to put those points in specific areas now to really sort of show what the important parts of the track are, the more difficult parts of the track. So those will be the 5 sectors that we'll be judging with today in qualifying. Of course, even style has changed. We have initiation, transitions, and X Factor. Now, X Factor is really what's going to set a driver apart from other drivers. So a very safe, let's call it simple run that is hitting all the right points can probably get a 90. But if you really want to get that extra 10 points, you have to go above and beyond. You have to show that you're willing to be as aggressive as possible going out to the edges of the track, the walls and all that, and have some really great transitions as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've always said that, and I'm glad you kind of adopted. Things just kind of, you know, progress, and you kind of get addendums into rules and all those, but really kind of getting to the finite details of, you know, what they're looking at. And overall, here we take a look. These are the K&N air filters, keys to success. K&N, the official air filter of Formula Drift. Stay off the rumble strip. Yeah. I mean, that's a no-brainer, but walk us through these.
Yeah, typically rumble strips are fair to be on, and here the painted rumble strip we're okay with. If you put your tire on the painted part, that's fine, but you'll see beyond that, you see these big bumps. If the tire goes up on that, it's going to be considered 1 tire off, so we want to keep the drivers off of those. You want to get all the way to the wall at outside zone 1, but of course you don't want to overshoot that zone. You want to draw a nice, consistent, smooth arc from outside zone 2 to 3. That's a super important area here. So 2 is the one under the bridge. Everything's changed from last year. We have no more touch and go 1 over there. We have outside zone 1, outside zone 2. So you want to be nice and wide on that arc from 2 to 3, and then get to that touch and go and draw a nice, smooth arc from the touch and go to inside clip 1 and finish wide at the finish line.
Yeah, finishing wide of the wall, that's important. That, if you can remember last year, a lot of notoriety, a lot of focus.
Oh, yeah.
You even said in the driver's meeting, you're like, the infamous, the one, the only inside clip. That's where you get to see some tumultuous situations. Well, when we come back, guess what? We're seeing turning and burning. This is the AutoZone Streets of Long Beach presented by Type S Auto. I'm Jared D. Our judges, Chris Yule, Brian Eggert. When we come back, let's send it Long Beach.
Because we prefer a running partner that can keep pace. We know ignition, and since our spark plugs don't run alone, we put some of our energy and expertise into making better coils. NGK ignition coils are engineered to OE durability and performance. And because we race to win, we improve the design, testing, and validation of our coils for better performance. NGK spark plugs and coils, better together.
Rockstar energy drink. This is Matt Walton, the twin turbo PWC. Tanner Fast going through the paces. Solid line here. Great angle. Woo! Good initiation from Dye. Did you see that fake flick entry? Just gangster right there.
Good job right there by Osmo, but look at Odie Bacchus diving right in on the attacking
Positioning now. Ryan Turf really needs to show up. He went off course. Tightens it up to the front clip, as is Freddie. The Norwegian hammer gets sweated by Denofa. And then he just keeps on going past. And Frederick Osmo fills all that outside zone. Michael, that's a right there. Look at him rolling tide. Here we go. Final outside zone line. Pretty straightforward. Outside zone. Frederick Osmo right there. And now bring around that final clip. Approaching, pulls the tire up.
So qualifying playing a role here in Long Beach.
When I'm flying, I put my helmet on, my visor down, my mask up. You don't know who I am. Whether I'm African American, Asian American, Hispanic, white, male or female. You just know I'm an American Airman, kicking your butt. I'm General C.Q. Brown Jr. Come join us.
In my 1,000 horsepower competition drift car, I use Royal Purple XPR 5W50. XPR is specifically formulated to increase horsepower and torque in high performance and racing engines. And its revolutionary Cinerlic additive technology and zinc phosphorus fortified formulation provides the highest level of protection against heat and wear. The new 550 is all killer, no filler. It has better high temperature performance than any other 2050 engine oil. The result is a performance oil that protects like no other, utilizing superior base oils and additives. It's what sets Royal Purple apart from the rest, and what is also transferred down to their HPS high performance street oil, which is what I run in my daily drifter. So from here to here, all you get is extreme performance from the synthetic experts. Royal Purple.
Formula Drift is brought to you by Toyota, let's go places. Royal Purple, the official engine oil of Formula Drift, the synthetic expert. Rockstar, the official energy drink of Formula Drift. Your first ever three-peat champion, 2017, 2018, and now 2019 Formula Drift champ, it is James the Machine D. We have solidified a champion in James Dean. The three-peat has happened for the first time ever in FD history.
After winning a championship, you should be on top of the world, you know, but I think that hurt.
When you can open a can of worms there if you want.
One of the top drivers there to suddenly watching it on the live stream.
You don't just disappear as split from a team after winning 3 championships together.
There's nothing else in this earth that gives me that same feeling, so just trying to get that feeling back, really.
Even when things aren't going his way, he will try and pull something out of the bag to bring things around.
I would be lying if I said that I didn't want to win or that I don't have high hopes. I have the highest of hopes.
He's the best drifter in the world right now.
I absolutely wouldn't change anything. We've had our struggles, don't get me wrong, but I think they make the good times so much better.
So yeah, exciting times ahead. Let's see how it works out.
They're all delighted over there that James isn't there right now.
I'm more nervous now than I was with his first competition, to be honest.
Yeah, you gotta stay hungry in everything you do, I think. Otherwise, you're retired.
Oh man, super excited here. Love that James Dean documentary, our 3-time champion, as we are getting set, and we start from the top. We start with our defending champion, Frederick Osbo. Qualifying, this is how it's gonna play out. Every driver, 30+ drivers, are gonna complete one run here on our course. Ryan Lantagne elaborating on the outside zones, the inside clip, the touch and go, all of that. And they're trying to get into just basically the not so great 8, get in the bottom spots, because we'll have K&N filters knockout qualifying, mean some drivers will only be one and done. They'll have a run, it'll be enough to get them into tomorrow's main event for head-to-head competition. But again, we'll take the bottom 8, re-rack them, they are forced to complete another run. They won't get any higher than that top or that bottom 8 position, and then they will fight for that head-to-head position for tomorrow's event. So knockout qualifying, some drivers one and done, some drivers are fighting for it. But we will have some hurt feelings because we have more than 32 drivers, so that means some drivers will be watching from the grandstands or from the live stream like you are. Again, Jared DeAnda, your tour guide. Ryan Lantagne joining me up in the booth. He is doing double duty as co-host as well as a judge, alongside that of Chris Yule and Brian Egger. Thank you boys for joining us here, Chris, Brian, and Ryan. Sean Adriano, Pat Gentile, so gentle. Sopa on the ropa at the start? Yes, he is. Matt Sopa. We got the band back together, baby, and we are about to rock and roll. Thank you so much for joining us. By the way, happy April Fools for anybody who saw my Instagram story. I was joking. It's April 1st. I'm back, baby. 19 years. Here comes Frederick, the Norwegian Hammer Osbo. That Rockstar energy drink. Toyota GR Supra. That 3-liter, 3.2-liter stroked setup. Filling that outside zone. That is outside zone 3. Outside touch and go. Proper line here for the defending champion, wrapping around, making it look oh so good. Make some noise. We are kicking it off here. Formula Drift season 2022. See him making his way back to the pit area, and just such a dynamic season and an event last year. Let's take a look at it here once again as Frederick Osbo goes through it. Lantagne, what stood out in your mind? I mean, this is a great way to start the season.
Yeah, it's a nice smooth run, Jared. He didn't get as wide out to outside zone 1 as I'd like to see. Nice and tight on outside zone 2 though, so that looked really strong. You can see he's a few feet off of outside zone 3, so definitely could get closer there. But touch and go to inside clip 1, maybe about a foot or 2 off the clip. So overall, a pretty good run, but I don't think it's going to be that 100 point that we're looking for. He's definitely off on a few of the line portions of the track, but this overhead view is amazing.
Yeah, quick assessment there is I feel like it's safe, you know, and Freddie has really just kind of calibrated his driving style, and it's just so coincidental, or maybe it's by design, or maybe because Papadakis is at the helm. That's how Tanner Faust was. You got to keep in mind, you know, he's a multiple champion as well. Just kind of scaling, kind of ramps it up. And I think that's what Freddie wants to do. You know, you can't win the event in qualifying. You got to get it into head-to-head.
Yep.
That's where you really start to do the work.
No, you're right. And I think it's a safe play here. It's definitely going to get him into the show. There's no doubt about that. It's just how high is he going to be at the end of the day, you know?
Yeah, and we saw that strategy play out last year, you know, between Denofa and Gittin and all that kind of rigmarole as far as, you know, where you qualify, what goes on. I think it's great. Hey, you know what? Some people playing checkers, some people are playing chess. It's all up to you. So as we wait for Frederick Osbo's score, the Rockstar Energy Drink Toyota GR Supra. Again, the Norwegian Hammer. Nice casual Friday here. Thank you guys and gals so much for joining us. Be sure to hashtag FDLB, and there's a score. It's an 85. So Lantain absolutely on it. A good score. And look at that, he's #1 qualifier.
Yeah, that's a good joke, Jared.
I only have 2, so I used up that one.
Yeah,
I got one more.
That one's done for the day.
Yeah, that's it. That's a wrap. You got this, Lantain. You don't even need me here. You're a judge, you're a host. I mean, you're gunning for my job.
The thing is, though, you can only do that once in an event, right? Because he's #1 qualifier.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's not funny.
Yeah, no, it's not funny. Here we go, Matt Field, the Beast in the Bay, 777, the Drift K Falcon Tire C6 Corvette. That supercharger winding it up into that first outside zone. Fills it properly. Let's see how close he gets here. You saw Freddie get a little bit closer to Matt Field. Oh, really deep on outside zone 3. You saw that bumper flex, that HGK bumper. Now bring it on around. Little bit of an interesting line there for Matt Field. He did do that touch and go really properly for that Falcon Tire Corvette. Well done as the Forge Star wheels go round. Wrapped in Falcon tires. Momo gear, keeping them safe. Let's see what we got here as Lantain, you want to walk us through your school of thought?
Yeah, nice and wide on outside zone 1. Really great on outside zone 2 is a little bit off. It's the third one. Little rub right in the zone. Like you said, great on outside on the touch and go, but he had a different kind of line there. Unorthodox, I would say. It was like an early apex of that clip, whereas we want it to be right across the front. So definitely lost a point on line.
Yeah, you saw him kind of overshoot it, which pushed him out towards that wall. That's where it gets precarious when it comes to head-to-head. Right now, putting a score on the board, could tighten it up. And yeah, see that? So it swings him out wide as opposed to kind of staying on the touch and go and cutting in.
Yeah, he should have gone longer on the touch, like a little bit deeper there after the touch and go, and then made a nice arc around instead of going in early, which is what he did, yeah.
All right, so Matt Field getting a score on the board as our judges are accumulating those. I mean, I'm telling you, the forecast for this weekend, I believe it's supposed to be ideal like it is here today. Have you looked at the forecast at all? Anybody?
I think you're right. It's going to be in the 60s, sunny, no rain.
Yeah,
that's a disaster here.
Why'd you say the R word?
It says no rain. We're
you
good.
don't say the R word. You don't think about it. Don't even think about it. Look, oh, here comes a cloud. I'm joking. No, we should have an absolutely bluebird day, and that is Odie Bakshi's. Scores are in here, and that is a 91, my friends. Matt Field with a 91. Slaying it out here. Look at that, 37, 28, 26. So on style, he's leaving some points on the board. 4, you can see there, 2 for angle. Now we go to 3rd overall. And Lantain, you and I were talking about, he kind of had a tough week. Wednesday out here on media day, took it hard on the wall. I mean, he's had a tough week.
Yeah, I was talking to his wife Amy, and she said that the nose went in a little bit, and they had to take it back to the shop and fix it. But here he is, he's back out.
Nosing it in here. The Falcon Tire Field suspension. S15 comes up a little bit short, maybe gun shy. In that second outside zone, under the bridge, now into the 3rd. I think he's keeping it off the wall, similar to that of Osbo. Oh, really like that. Odie has really executed, you know, historically. I got to tell you, just, you know, when Odie came on the scene back in the day, you know, S13, he's progressed S14, just always a contender. Could this be his year for the championship? Let's take a look at it again here as Odie comes shooting out of that start chicane, initiates here. Ryan, it seems that seems to be the trend, is Osbo and Field, and now Odie playing it safe. We saw him closer during practice, but like we said, Odie might be having some difficulty here.
Yeah, we talk to the spotters. We have spotters help during practice time, and we point out the different things that they're doing right, the different things they're doing wrong, and some of the spotters say, you know, he's playing it safe right now. He's going to be on the walls once we get to competition. But then sometimes you get to competition, you get to qualifying like this, and they're just a little bit off still. And like you said, it's probably trying to play it safe, wanting to get in the show, and you know they're going to throw it all down during competition. Keep the car in one piece, you know that you're going to lay down a high 80s kind of run here, and it's going to be safely in the show.
Yeah, that X factor, it's just that one. I'm looking for the middle of the pack, some of these guys, and we saw Brandon Sorensen get into a tussle with another new vehicle, that is Chris Forsberg. I'll tell you what, Rome Charpentier, he is possessed. He is driving really, really aggressively. What's it say? What's it say? Give hell to moderns? What's it say? Give moderns hell. He's got the E36 and 89 there for Odie Bakshis. But yeah, give moderns hell because he's running that E36 and looking like a trapper keeper with that pink and green livery. I like it though. All right, so here we go as we progress on. Chelsea to Nofa. What do you think of Chelsea's car? Back at it again, kind of new livery, the Pennzoil look. What are your expectations for Chelsea's year?
Well, he was looking really strong in practice. We stood over by outside zone 1 this morning watching practice, and he was on it immediately.
Yeah.
There was really no warm-up for him. He just went right in. I think he was here on media day as well, so it probably gave him a little more comfort coming into today, but definitely looked locked in right away.
I mean, people ask me, like, hey, how was the offseason? Chelsea hasn't had an offseason. This guy's driving every weekend. Yeah. Here we go, the Pennzoil Synthetics. BC Racing, oh, look at that, smashing in, bumper budget once again. Chelsea not as close as they could be on outside zone 2, dives in on 3, so outside touch and go. Big slow, and you can hear that exhaust note, so kind of slid it on into the touch and go. It was the right line, but would have liked to have him on throttle. So I want to back it up. Again, could have been closer on outside zone 2. Obviously, got as close as possible. Chelsea is known for just shredding bumpers. He eats them up, but let's look at it again.
Well, that's the downside of putting the rear of the car so deep into one zone is when you transition thinking you're going to be on the wall, because you're like an extra foot deeper on that side of the track. When you transition to the other side, you're going to be off a little bit, and that seems like what happened with Chelsea here. It did throw him off a little bit. You can see he went a little bit off of outside zone 3 as well. Could have been deeper there. Yeah. But again, it's the risk you take going into turn 1. It's either you're a little too far or not far enough, or you're going to get right on that fine edge, basically, because it's kind of blind when you come around turn 1. So.
And it's really going to throw you off. Do you see that? Because I mean, we see him really backing it in. It didn't disrupt the car because again, that back bumper on those Mustangs, it can take a lot. Yep. You know, like a shorter bumper, like a Ryan Turk bumper, your margin of error is a lot slimmer. But as long as it doesn't disrupt, I think you're all right. But what are your thoughts in regards to just slamming it in and backing in? Because historically we have seen people take themselves out going to what used to be a touch and go is now an outside zone.
Yeah, well, we try to tell them don't use the walls as the bumpers that you can get when you're going bowling. The gutter guards. We don't want you to treat the walls like a gutter guard to keep your car on the track. So we're not looking for you to bury the back of the car in there. So he did lose a point online there because of the fact that he buried the back of the car and a little bit deeper than we'd like. But overall, a great score.
Yeah, I mean, look at that line. So as you said, but look at that angle 30, style 27, but line was down quite a bit. So he slides in with a 91. He does time at field, but because of, I believe it's the style score, he is defaulted to
second.
Correct.
That's exactly it. Yep. Despite the fact that line is worth more points, style is still the first tiebreaker.
So and because that houses the X factor.
Exactly.
That's kind of just the true indicator.
You're right. Yep.
Ryan Turk, brand new livery, that Rain X Toyota GR Corolla, great looking car, new livery, and if you didn't see it, it debuted last night. It's blown up the internet, the all-new Toyota GR Corolla. Absolutely insane. All-wheel drive, 300 horsepower. This, a little bit different. 1,000 horsepower, 4-cylinder turbo nitrous. Ryan Turk. Woo, gets close to that. Like I said, that margin of error on that small back bumper. He brings in an outside zone 2 into 3. Gets a little bit closer. What's the 4-on-1? Ryan Turk. Here we go into that final outside zone. Kind of similar to Matt Field's line. Again, you saw him kind of slide out, didn't cut in on the apex. Also, congratulations to him and his wife, Shannon, their brand new baby boy, born just, gosh, was it like 2 weeks ago, I think it was? But congratulations, there's a new Turk boy in the building.
That's dangerous. That's trouble.
I know, right?
Another Turk. All right, looking at this run, like you said, really short overhang, but he's managing to put the car in all the right places. He's just a foot or so off of each outside zone, so really minimal deductions there. Nice and close on the touch and go. And then looking at his line here, not too bad. A little bit earlier than we'd like to see. Sort of on the apex of that inside clip, but overall a really solid run on throttle everywhere. We're not seeing any handbrakes that we don't want to see anywhere. good momentum through the course, using the decel zones, the momentum zones as he should. But you can see there he overshot inside clip just ever so slightly, but overall a pretty great run.
That was kind of like a field line.
It was, yeah.
Looked like Matt's. And I love seeing that perspective of that last clip, which is the inside clip. But when you tighten up it like that, you really don't get an opportunity to see the arc of that touch and go to and crossing the finish line. That I really like to see kind of like a high and wide on that, and that's when we see it on the replay. It looks sensational how close they're getting. And also, maybe we should talk about that on the next replay. On that inside. Oh, big score, 93. Turk now #1 qualifier. Ryan Turk, 5th overall last season, a brand new look. And guess what? No Rain-X needed here today, but maybe for the other tiers of the drivers that are going to be crying because Ryan Turk is currently #1. But congratulations, the Rain-X Toyota GR Corolla on Nitto tires. And now another new car. This is the brand new, all new Nissan Z. You know, they say it should be called the 400Z, but it's just the Nissan Z. It's the all-new Nissan Z. I believe this is the first ever Nissan Z outside of Nissan's ownership.
Wow.
And they just cut it up. I mean, this is literally like, I believe it's like serial number 3. It doesn't have that VIN, but that's like the 3rd outside of those 2 that we're doing on tour.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So it's just amazing. So he got into a little bit of a tussle with Brandon Sorensen. He rotated in front of him, put the back end into his side, but it's great to see him back out here. He still is running that VR, the GTR engine, but he's got plenty of horsepower, but to be quite honest, he dynoed it on the track this morning. Here we go, the NOS Energy Drink Nissan Z on GT Radials. Chris, the Force Forsberg, in that second outside zone under the bridge. Now coming at last outside zone. Got another fairly safe line here for Forsberg, but I believe he just wants to advance on, get one in the books, and there you have it. The all-new Nissan Z of 3-time champion, Chris the Force Forsberg.
Yeah, that's a great looking car, Jared. I was part of the Nissan unveiling a little while ago, and we did some stage driving, and one of these was there, and we just stood around staring at it the whole time.
Let's talk about the run, but also
Yeah.
the car, because in general, like
Great.
you see so many different influences from past Z's, but please, his run.
Like you said, playing it safe, not as close as he should be on outside zone 1, 2, or 3. Good on throttle. The angle's decent. He's using the momentum as he should throughout the course. Did a decent job on inside clip 1 as well. I think he was slightly early on it, but this is going to give us the view right here. This you can't hide anything from the drone.
The truth serum, we called it last year.
Yeah, it's phenomenal for that. So you're going to see his arc here. That was actually really pretty good.
So Odie and Forsberg have historically been the most aggressive and the best at executing that last inside clip. And I just remember multiple one more times between Forsberg and Odie and Odie and somebody else. Like they would just go door to door, just grinding. So again, back to that all-new Nissan Z. The back end almost has like a 300ZX Fairlady look. You kind of see the Datsun 240. You see the 370 kind of that rear quarter, right? There's so much different influence from all the different past Z's.
And it's tied together so well.
Yeah.
You know, some people are complaining that it's just a 370Z underneath or something like that. It's a new engine. It looks amazing. It has a manual transmission and it's rear-wheel drive. I'm in. I'm 100% in. I think it's phenomenal. We need more cars like it in the market, so I love it. I'm all about it.
Awesome, and that's coming from you. So an 85 for Chris Forsberg. So leaving quite a few points on the table, but I think it's got to be a win in his book. I mean, literally, the paint was drying Wednesday night. Over at the Pike Bar, you know, the infamous Pike Bar on Cherry and 4th. Bunch of cars were there, but notably Chris pulled his car out. But, you know, we saw Joao Barry on there, saw Matt Field, Dylan Hughes. You know, we saw quite a few cars. And the paint was like drying, dude.
Right.
Like it was, and like I said, this morning, they dynoed that on the track. It never hit a dyno.
For him to put that kind of run down for its maiden qualifying after just practicing for a few hours this morning, that's
facts.
It's great.
Facts.
Yeah.
And you remember when Frederick Osbo debuted his Supra, he won here at Long Beach.
Wow.
Here we go, Dylan Hughes. Speaking of the dozer, Dylan Hughes racing Royal Purple Falcon tire, BMW. Now coming into view of the fans here in the building, getting to that first outside zone, into the second, nice aggressive flick of the wrist into the third outside zone. Let's see how he handles the touch and go. Really close, nice job. You can see that BC Racing go for gold. Outside zone. And it's you'll see the yellow markers hanging off the fence because when they transition there, they want to be tight, so it's really hard for them to see kind of the sign on the wall. Looks like a JTP right there. Let's take a look at it again from the eye in the sky.
The truth serum again. So looking at his line, did a great job on outside 1, outside 2, maybe a foot or so off. So pretty accurate there. Outside zone 3, though, he was not close. That was definitely some points left on the board there. Decent on the touch and go, and just a little bit off of inside clip 1. So overall, a pretty smooth run. I think smooth is the best way to describe it. He was on throttle. There were no slowdowns where he shouldn't slow down. There was a tiny little handbrake pull there at inside or outside zone 2. So the style judge, Brian, will probably have picked that up already. And overall, like I said, just missing a few of the accuracies that we were looking for on the line.
Talk about a driver that has just progressed over the years, you know, from what was formerly known as Pro 2, now Pro Spec, progressing through that, growing his program, getting more seat time. He's doing a lot of really cool activations with a lot of his sponsors, either Royal Purple or Permatex, Rain-X. He does a lot of really cool, fun stuff that really feeds in his lifestyle. And right now, feeding his lifestyle is a score of 87, and 87 there for the dozer, Dylan Hughes. Catching our breath here. We are only 7 drivers into the 30-plus drivers. And here's how the qualifying leaderboard looks. Ryan Turk, top of the heap here. You know, I know like in action sports like X Games, when a lot of the pro skateboarders have their children, it kind of gives them some good luck and some good energy, and that might be the case here for Ryan Turk. So we'll see if just kind of puts things in perspective and bringing a new life into this world. So again, congratulations to Ryan Turk and Shannon. But Field sits in second, Denofa third, Odie Bakshis and Dylan Hughes wraps out that top 5. But what we are seeing and hearing is Kazuya Taguchi, unfortunately, in that ISR up garage, GT Radial vehicle, is a scratch on his first run. So it will be going for automatically to the K&N air filters, the official air filter of Formula Drift. He will be going for the second run. So he will be in the not so great 8, and that's even if he can run. So we're advancing on to a former champ, Michael Essa. Michael Essa, FCP Euro, Liqui GT Radial, BMW M3. Working all the way out there, smashing the bumper. Doesn't affect it too much, but Ryan, you were talking about it earlier about, Chelsea Denofa going into it, and he got deducted a point there. So that was just maybe a little too deep when it really, again, didn't affect the attitude of the car. Yeah, go ahead, make some noise for him. Michael Essa, former champ in that BMW. And he buys for an all BMW setup, engine, chassis, obviously, versus a lot of other guys either go, like Dylan Hughes, he's 2J. Travis Reeder, he's LS. But let's talk about the run.
Michael S. is a traditionalist, so he did go a little bit too deep. You could see it just changed the attitude of the car slightly there, so the angle judge will definitely get him there. And then going through outside zone 3, pretty deep there, so it didn't affect the rest of the run. You could see nice and tight on inside clip. He did a good job on the touch and go. So right there, just ever so slightly. But again, we're not looking for the drivers to bury the back of their cars in that aggressively. It's more of a scrape we're looking for. Yeah. So again, one line point off there. A foot outside of that wall, and he would have had 10 points. But that's the calculation you're making when you initiate. It's a couple of feet later, a couple of miles per hour quicker, end up going just a little bit further. But that's the level that they're playing at here, where they're playing with inches to these walls, and it's pretty much blind coming around that first corner.
Yeah, it's scary, man, and you got to look at some in-car. You got to see the different perspectives, and then tomorrow they're going door-to-door, wheel-to-wheel, just throwing it in there. I mean, so many great memories have been made here at Long Beach, and we're doing all again next weekend as well. Friday and Saturday night here at the Grand Prix of Long Beach, and an 83 for Michael Essa. So we will have more than 32 cars, but unfortunately, I know Trenton Beecham's not here. Josh Reynolds, his vehicle is in transit. Ola Jaeger from Norway. Yeah, his car, not once, but twice it wasn't on the ship. So he's hoping, I talked to him and his lady, and he says it's coming to New York. It'll be in Atlanta.
I think he said it left Germany yesterday or the day before. So very unfortunate that it's somewhere in the Atlantic right now.
Yep.
And I think Joshua Reynolds' car is in the Caribbean right now. It got
He's
on the
on
wrong
vacation.
Ship. It got on the wrong
got on the
ship
wrong
and ended
ship.
up south.
Hey, so happy to see Jeff Jones back out here. Very cool to see Jones. Eva Auto Works. Whoa, man, no. Oh, man. He didn't do it there. Something's going on with that front suspension.
Yeah, he did get in the wall earlier.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was stoked to see him back to line.
Yeah.
He over-rotated going to outside zone 2.
I caught the very end of it, but I saw him drive off, which made me feel good about everything, but it seems like there may be something wrong with the alignment. You can see on that initiation right away, the car snapped so fast and over-rotated immediately. There was no way that he was going to make it around that corner. I was hoping he wouldn't make it into the wall there. I was hoping he'd clear it, by the end of that wall, but just managed to clip the edge of it, unfortunately.
Oh, such a bummer. That will be an incomplete there for Jeff Jones, so he is forced to go into his second qualifying run. When we come back, we'll see how he fare. We'll get Jeff Jones off the track and continue on with our action here. This is the AutoZone Streets of Long Beach, presented by Type S Auto.
How does one car going wild in the mall help us tell the GR story?
You're right.
We need more cars.
GT Radio. Experience ultra high performance.
For those who don't settle when others do, who will give everything but won't give up. For those who believe in unlimited while others limit themselves. For those who are set free by performance and believe innovation can take you anywhere.
Woo-wee! Look at that. We are back. It's a beautiful day. We can see our vehicles. And we are seeing the Dodge Viper. And we are seeing, next up, the Hyper NFT, Daily Driven Exotics, Dodge Viper. This is Dean Carnage Carney. We are in the Pedal Commander Burnout box, and we are knee-deep in the K&N Air Filters Knockout Qualifying. K&N, the official performance filter of Formula Drift. All right, there's Dean Carnage Carney. And he is warming it up in an all-new sponsor for him. All right, as now we're going to turn the screen, we're going to turn the mics on. I'm going to just announce, we're just having fun here, but regardless, we got the Hyper NFT Dodge Viper talking about exotic cars in the metaverse. So a really cool new sponsor for Dean Carnage Carney, and we are ready to send him. We are ready to rip it up, and let's see what Dean Carnage Carney's got. Car looks great.
What were all those words you just said?
Meta, Hyper NFT, Dean
Universe.
Carnage Carney, Universe. Here we go, Dean Carnage Carney, throwing it in. Let's see what we got here from Carney. Into that first outside zone, uses all the course. Comes up a little bit short there on the second. Maybe a little gun shy, ripping towards the middle of the track. Does not get out to that third outside zone. So quite a bit of distance between him and those zones. But I'm glad to see car sounds very healthy.
Yes, it does. Looks good with that new wrap. He's been doing great in practice. It's been looking smooth. He hasn't been having any issues, it looks like. The car's running great. It's all keys to success. Yeah,
a lot of handbrake there.
A lot of handbrake there, but let's see. He's on throttle here. Not as close as he could be on either one of those zones. Need to see that closer. He's way off there by a big margin. Touch and go, though. Nice and tight there. And, you know, a few feet off of inside clip. So the accuracy is not there. You can see that was, what, like a car length almost away from the wall. So that's going to be a hit on points there for him.
Yeah, that was a considerable amount of distance between the wall and that outside zone 3 and the back end of that Dodge Viper, unfortunately.
Yeah, so the line is definitely going to suffer for Dean Carney's run here, but he's got to be happy. He got a run in that hopefully will get him into the show on the first run, so he doesn't have to go for that what is it, knockout qualifying, the second chance.
Knockout qualifying. Second chance, last chance. I like to call it the not so great 8.
Not so great.
That's kind of the just the. Yeah, Ryan, walk us through being one of the 3 judges alongside Chris Yule, Brian Eggert, and yourself. The sector map. You said, kind of more sectors. They're kind of color-coded there, but regardless, OZ 1, 2, 3, and touch and go and inside clip.
Yeah, generally outside zone 1 to 2 are the easiest for everybody to see. They're straight down the chute underneath the bridge. So that's a very important area for the drivers because line, angle, and style for that transition right there, it's very important, it's very visible, and it's so obvious when there's a mistake made. And we could see that Dean did not get out all the way to outside zone 1, did not get all the way out to the outside 2, but his main issue was outside zone 3. And if you are off on 1 and 2, it has the potential to really throw you off on 3 because it's that long arc that you have to draw. And if you don't want to grab a handbrake, which is what we want drivers not to do, right? We want to keep them off the handbrake, then you can't really back your car up into the zone. So you're just hoping for enough momentum and to be on the right line so that throttle will take you there. But maybe he had a lot of grip in the car and being on throttle pulled him away from the wall. There are many different factors that could play into him not getting all the way up to that zone.
Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Travis Reeder, a no-show for his first run. I heard the car's not running 100%, but right now, running 100%. This is JTP, Justin Pollock, that Falcon Tires, Ford Mustang, massive angle.
Ooh,
oh,
too deep into that wall.
Way too deep. Oh, and it affected the performance of the car, not just the attitude, but that will be an incomplete for JTP, who's been looking really good in practice, man. All the teal and blue, I saw him in field, him and Odie, they were all ripping around, and Justin, just a really aggressive driver, just really likes to throw it down.
Yeah, in the driver briefing this morning, we showed some videos of previous year's runs that were phenomenal and what people should try to emulate.
Aspire,
and one of his runs was one of our favorites. And you can see that he just probably initiated a little bit late, and his arc ended up being a little bit too long, like going in towards the wall. So it's, like I said, it's blind here. So you can see he actually threw more angle at the car to try to save it, and he may have saved it from going into the wall there by, fully going to the wall by getting the back into the wall first. But we have seen other drivers throw more angle as they get to the wall to make it look like they're closer, because you get the car more sideways, it just visually looks like you're actually reaching the wall. But we prefer, especially from Chris, the angle judge, that your angle is set at initiation and you maintain that angle all the way around the corner, as opposed to pouring it on as you get close to the wall to try to reach out towards it. So he did that here. He may have gone in regardless, but potentially saved it from doing that unwanted front end slap into the wall, which damages a lot more.
Yeah, almost like a tank slapper, grabs you and then it whips your front end and you ride off a whole side of the car.
Yeah.
So, and I also liked what you said, and we'll probably, I'm just going to venture to say, we'll probably see it. The stepped initiation.
Yes.
When you initiate, you kind of put some angle, you kind of go like 50%, then you kind of go 75.
Yeah.
That's not what you want to see either.
Exactly.
Smooth, fluid.
Everything needs to be smooth and fluid. On the initiation, the three things we're always looking for is how smooth, how quick, and how accurate that initiation is. And when you have a stepped initiation, you've messed up on the smoothness and the accuracy as well. So we want to avoid that at all costs.
We always like to say, set it and forget it. See those front tires locked in. You see that on power, powering all the way through, unlike just throwing it in, letting off throttle, maybe yanking the handbrake.
Right.
Not a good look. That's
No,
what we're
exactly. Those are all what we call corrections, things that we don't want to see.
Simon Olsen, another Norwegian driver, driving a Toyota Supra, a great-looking car. Here in that boost race fuel, easy for me to say, Toyota GR Supra. Ooh, way off of that outside zone 1 and 2. Come on, Olsen. Now coming into that last outside zone, ripping into that inside clip. Seemed to get it together there on that inside clip, but unfortunately, a lot of air in between that wall and those outside zones and that Toyota GR Supra.
Yeah, miscalculation there on the initiation, and it looks like he was way on the inside. It's like we talked about earlier, you want to be somewhat safe so that you don't go into the wall, but sometimes you can play it far too safe, and you end up way inside like this. So this is a very tight run, not getting out wide in any of the outside zones. He does get out to the touch and go, and he's nice and tight on the inside clip, so he'll get some good points on line in those areas. And then the other judges will be looking at angles. You can see his angle was pretty low coming into outside zone 1. Did pretty good here on outside zone 2, maintaining angle through there to outside zone 3, but definitely the line is going to suffer.
Looking for some big things here from Simon Olsen, now a multi-year competitor in the Formula Drift Championship. It's great to see him back out here. Similar look, but a little refined. Still will get a score, so that's good. Again, considering that, so coming into this round, basically have 34 drivers. So that means if everybody ran, everybody ran, 2 drivers would be watching from the side. And I'll tell you, I talked to Travis Reeder before qualifying, and he said that the car's just not starting. It's just, so he's having major issues. So I'd love to see Travis Reeder. He just joined the Royal Purple team alongside his Pacific Northwest homie of Dylan Hughes. But that's a 68 for Simon Olsen. So, you know, not the best score, but a score nonetheless, which could solidify him into head-to-head, because right now, you know, Jeff Jones, Travis Reeder, Kazuya Taguchi, they're all incompletes.
Yep.
So pending if they even run, that's still a score for Simon Olsen. And, you know, unfortunately, like I said, Reeder not able to run, Kazuya Taguchi don't know what's going on there with his vehicle, and then Jones obviously hitting that wall.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Is it still called the bubble in this situation?
There would be a bubble.
The bubble.
There would be a bubble because you don't want to be in the bottom 8
right.
out of everybody who's competing. So Alec Robbins, really quick driver from Becker, Minnesota, in that Facetto Nissan Z. Stayed on that outside zone for a considerable amount of time. Some wavering there, so that wasn't a stepped initiation. It just was kind of, it came out of drift just slightly, but just the attitude of the car, you saw it kind of get disrupted. And with those chrome wheels, you can really see just the correction there going to even that final inside clip.
Yeah, at the inside clip, you could see an angle correction for sure. We'll have to hope and pray here that we get the drone shot, because that's going to tell us exactly what occurred. But you can see he was late on outside zone 1, so his line score is going to suffer there. And there was a big bobble coming into outside zone 2. Outside zone 3 seemed to get out there, but not quite as deep as we'd like to see. And then right there, you can see him unwind the wheel a little bit. And like you said, those chrome wheels really help out. So here's outside zone 3, quite a bit of distance off there. Yeah, so not ideal on the outside zones. He did get out wide to the wall for the outside zone 1 area, but it looked like he was really late on the zone, so not filling the area that he's supposed to fill.
I think it's going to be another scenario, Simon Olsen here, where he puts a score on the board. It won't be the most impressive score, but I think just getting in the mix, getting in the room for the conversation is what is important here.
Yeah, I think you're right, Jared.
And there's the score for Alec Robbins in that Facetto Nissan Z. It's a 71 for Robbins. Great job for the Minnesotan, don't you know? Man, a lot of people texting me and messaging me about my April Fool's joke about not announcing Formula Drift.
And here you are, Jared. But that was a good joke. I think you caught a lot of people off guard with that.
My buddy, he says he sent me expletives and says, "You're a jerk. April Fool's is for kids. We're adults. I'm not talking to you for today."
Hey, a lot of companies do April Fool jokes.
Right?
I think it's an adult, totally legit thing to do. If you can catch people out like that on a day like today, then go for it, Jared.
Yeah, I mean, Nick Swan, he's mad at me now. He's not texting me.
Hey, no loss there, Jared.
Oh, come on. I love Swan. All right, here we go. Back to the action, and we got that of Jonathan Hurst. Jonathan Hurst in that AZ Rags from Paducah, Kentucky. Always love this guy. One of the loudest cars, the machine gun. Coming into that third outside zone. Woo! That turbocharged LS. He's making a lot of power, switching up chassis. He had that long time G37, now rocking that E46. So it's great to see Jonathan Hurst in that new vehicle, the AZ Rag Dynasty tuned E46.
He's looking really comfortable in this car, Jared.
Yeah.
I know he was in the G before. Didn't look uncomfortable in that car, but he just looks at home here. Not a bad job there. Could have been wider on outside zone 1, a little bit tighter on 2, and 3 here. Again, just a foot or 2 off.
Yeah.
He's on throttle. He's making all that look good. He's off of the inside clip, though, by a good bit. We like to think that's the easy part of the track, but clearly it's not. You've got to get a lot of things working to get to the right position to get on inside clip. We say it's easier just because it's a lower speed, and it seems like it would be, easier, but I mean, nothing's easy about what these guys are doing out here. So just needs to be a little bit more accurate on the line portion of his driving. But I think his transitions look smooth. He was on throttle. He was decelling where he was supposed to. I didn't catch any handbrake pulls, although I'm not, as a line judge, looking for them necessarily.
Right.
But none of them were apparent off the top.
What a beautiful day, man.
It is. Bluebird Day, right?
A Bluebird Day.
Bluebird Day.
Yep.
Gotta love a Bluebird Day.
We're not hitting the slopes, though. We're at the beach, baby.
Beach, baby. So what's a beautiful day at the beach? Just a sunny, beautiful beach day?
Sunny, beautiful Bluebird Beach Day, baby.
I got a nice, beautiful run-in down the beach this morning.
Yeah.
You can't go wrong with a
Made
nice
me feel
California.
lazy.
Yeah, well, you can come with me sometime.
No. 77 for Jonathan Hurst. So congratulations to him, putting it down, putting down a solid score there for Jonathan Cash from Paducah, Kentucky. I just like saying where he's from. Paducah.
Paducah.
Isn't that fun?
It is fun.
Try it. Say it again.
Paducah.
Yep. See.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
Have you been to Kentucky, Jared?
Multiple times.
Multiple times. What part?
Bowling Green.
Oh, did you go to the Corvette
LS
factory?
Fest. No, there was a hole in the middle of it, so I couldn't go.
Oh, that was when the. Okay. But that was the museum that had the.
The museum where they all fell in the sinkhole. Here we go. Brandon Sorensen, 17 years young, picked up a new sponsor, United States Air Force. Brandon Sorensen coming in, comes swinging into view of the fans. Doesn't get all the way out there. Nice snappy transition. Very tight line. Not the line we are expecting from Sorensen. Just a real rising star here in Formula Drift. Him and his sister, Amanda Sorensen. Amanda Sorensen will be competing in Pro Spec. And Brandon here in Pro. Let's take a look at it here again. And I don't think this is Amanda's vehicle. It might just be Amanda's bumper with the pink on there.
Hey, pink is not just for girls, Jared.
No, I know, but I know she had pink on her vehicle. So.
He is looking very confident. He's looking really smooth. I'm guessing that there's more grip in the track right now than people are expecting, because we're seeing a lot of drivers in a row here not being able to achieve zone 1, 2, or 3. Now, again, these are zones that require exact precision. You want to get right out there to the point where you're scraping your bumper, but these drivers have so much grip built into their cars to go really fast. The question is right now, who are they going fast for in qualifying, Loosen the car up a little bit and achieve the zones.
Yeah, and what's interesting is I after practice earlier, in between this and practice, Brandon went to the wall. He spun out going from outside zone 2 into outside zone 3, backed it in. Forsberg ran into him, and I talked to Brandon and said, "What's up, man? Like, what happened?" And there's a 78 there for Brandon Sorensen, but he says, real slick out there. But what we just saw looked like he had plenty of grip.
Maybe they put a lot of grip back in their car. And conditions can change. You know, the sun hits different parts of the track, so I think things can change.
Well, take a look at that qualifying leaderboard here in the K&N Air Filters knockout qualifying. Ryan Turk leads the pack. There we go. Look at that. Ryan Turk, and there's our top 15. Carney, Robbins, Olsen, and you can see Taguchi, Jones, Reeder, no shows on their first run.
Looks like we're about halfway through. Is it right now, Jared? Jared, stop yelling at fans.
I'm not yelling. The fans are yelling at me because our big screen blew a fuse. I'll just be quite honest, and it just turned.
There it is.
And there is our big screen.
Beautiful.
I had a woman just yelling at me saying, "Just Jared, fix the screen." And you had to hit the side of it, and then it worked out.
Did you try turning it off and back on again?
Yeah, unplug it for 5 seconds, wait, and plug it back in. Radical Dan Burkett, Rad Dan and his wife Renee just announcing they are making the move from the West Coast to the East Coast. They're moving to Florida, aka Florida, in this Rad Industries Toyota Supra. Always a great looking car. Rad Industries gear wrench on GT radials. Let's see what we got here from Rad Dan. Dan coming into view, quite a bit of distance off that first. Now tightens it up, yo! Woo, attaboy, Dan Burkett. Really tight, the closest we've seen on the outside zone 2 under the bridge. And tightens it up on the inside clip. Well executed there. Like I said, outside zone 2, flawless. But 1 and 3, I want to take a look at 3 on this instant replay. 1 definitely left a window open there. There it is.
Yeah, you can see that there was quite a bit of space there, but number 2, look at that. Just scrapes the bumper. That's what we're talking about when we say fully filling a zone by just scraping the bumper on the wall. Zone 2 is really well done. You can see that zone 2 is moved a lot later than it was in previous years, and we moved zone 1 as well. Right here on zone 3, of course, off the wall a little bit, could have been tighter there. Decent job on the touch and go. Inside clip, if we get that front camera, it'll show that he was pretty close, maybe a foot or 2 off of that zone. But yeah, we did have to move the zones because the cars are going so much faster now. The zones have kind of been in the same place for a long time, so we moved zone 1 a little bit later, zone 2 a little bit later. Zone 3 is in the same position though. You can see that it's in the perfect spot, the way that arc comes around and then getting to the inside clip. He did that slight early apex on inside 1 as well.
All right, so Rad Dan looked like he gripped up on that first outside zone, but absolutely executing that second outside zone properly. So, and I really like the line he took on that final inside clip as the score comes in for an 80 for Dan Burkett. Seemed that on that third outside zone, he was a little timid.
He was.
You saw kind of some correction because if you're on that line, you're cooking, you can't stop it. It's a wrecking ball.
Yeah, and you have to analyze what happened before that. He was off of 1, but he was phenomenal on 2, and the problem may have occurred at 2. He may have thought he was going in too deep and lifted off the throttle a little bit, took away just a little bit of momentum, and then wasn't able to get to 3. I'm just, making guesses here.
No,
yeah. Been that, but could be. But great job on outside zone 2. Want to keep seeing that type of driving. They're just scraping the wall with just the edge of the bumper, not causing any real damage. Maybe scraping the wrap that's on there a little bit, but otherwise keeping the car in drift without making any strain corrections.
Well, this should be exciting here. A driver with a new team. This is first ever competition run for Adam LZ. Adam LZ in that AutoZone RTR Spec 5. LZ gets all the way out there, taps the bumper. It does disrupt him. It throws him off his second outside zone into that third outside zone. He was on it earlier in practice, off of that touch and go. So there you go. That is a perfect example of going a little too deep, disrupting the attitude of the car, throwing him out of shape, and that threw him off a second, third outside zone, touch and go, and even that inside clip. He will get a score, but watch it again.
Yeah, that's it. Again, this first corner kind of sets everything up. But it's so tricky. So you come around that corner hoping that you're going to get all the way out, and he did. He scraped it beautifully, but just didn't get the car to transition the way he wanted it to and get out to outside zone 2 or 3. He was quite a bit off of the touch and go here as well, and then inside clip 1 off also. So we're looking at throttle usage. He's on throttle. Let's look for some handbrakes. Do we see any? Throttle, throttle, throttle. All of that is good. His angle looks solid. So it's really just the line in this situation that isn't ideal. But momentum, throttle usage, lack of handbrake, all those things are going to be in his favor.
Doesn't have that X factor. I think if he did tap that wall and he ended up getting out to that second outside zone, I think he would fare a lot better. But unfortunately, that just threw him all out of whack. Car looks great. So happy that that he continued with that fade, the big stick fade. I like it. Great looking car. You know, going from a Sylvia S15 now to this RTR Spec 5. You know, brought to you by AutoZone. I think it's a smart move on everybody's behalf. He can just arrive and drive. He can do all his fun project cars, make his content, and really just have a shot.
Yeah.
Scores are in. There it is. Adam LZ with an 81. That's an 81 for Adam LZ. So congratulations to him. Adam LZ puts him in 9th position. So I believe we're not going to be seeing him later, but we will see him tomorrow in head-to-head competition where he lands TBD for LZ. There's our top 10. Ryan Turk still leading the pack with that 93, and that's a great confidence booster for him. And if you can remember, Ryan Turk, years past, he rode off a car here at Long Beach. Remember that?
I do remember that.
Yeah. So I mean, he had his GT86 and took it hard on the wall, rode it off. Had to build a car from this
street
round.
car, right?
It was his street car.
Yeah, it had the gray
roof
that
because
they
it was
left.
just his fun demo car. Then they thrashed and got that. And then guess what? He came back and he won New Jersey that year.
Yeah.
So
right.
it just goes to show you that confidence, feeling good, like I should. Here we go. Yves Meyer. Yves Meyer. Toyota Gazoo Racing Switzerland, Toyota GT86. New look here for Yves. Doesn't get all that first outside zone, nor the second. Oh, he's flying in that third. He wants to get out there. That was a little precarious there, but I like it.
So he's really late on 3.
Yeah.
We're going to have to look at that again.
Yeah, that was leaving a little to be desired here. But great to see the Drift Force driver back. Yves Meyer campaigning those BMWs last year. And this vehicle might look familiar. This is Jonathan Castro's former vehicle.
Yes, it is, Jared. So looking at the replay, off of 1, off of 2, quite a bit off of 3. And you can see he went really, really late on 3. And there are 2 white painted lines on the ground that I want to point out here. So watch outside zone 3. Really, really late. Watch these white lines. There's a solid one and a dotted one right there that he just went over.
It's a wide swing.
So those are the lines that we're telling them not to cross. So line-wise, he's going to get deductions there for that. So now we're going to see from the drone, it's really an area that we want them to avoid, going really wide there after 3. So unfortunately, that's going to be a bigger deduction than otherwise would have been just for the zone because he went way over those lines. Was not right on the wall for the touch and go, but was pretty much there, and then okay on the inside clip.
All right, Yves Meyer puts one in the books. Armando in the building. How we doing, Mondo? Alvarez. Shout out to Abdul and Mondo, and also shout out to the boys in Chicago. Got Grid Life watching, Sean and Chris and the whole gang. Thanks for watching. Be sure to hashtag FDLB, Formula Drift Long Beach. Let everybody know you're out here. The AutoZone Streets of Long Beach presented by Type S Auto. Type S providing the LED lights for underneath the vehicle and a bevy of products provided by Type S. As we're getting prepared for our next vehicle to come down the line. And it will be, after Yves Meyer, it's got Rome Charpentier, the Garagistic, Federal Tires, Imagine Garage E36 BMW, Give Moderns Hell. That's what it says on the wing. Just saying that, older body style. All right, scores are coming in. And there it is. Nice, 69 for Yves Meyer.
Easy. So that car that we were talking about earlier, Ryan Turek's old GT86, it went to JDM Supreme on Instagram. That guy bought it. And then a Brazilian driver just bought it.
That's right,
and went out
Diego.
and tested Diego Higa. He's here today with his team and everybody's here. So they're really pumped. He wants to compete next year in that car.
Oh, really?
And there was some really cool video of him driving it.
Yeah, I saw that.
Looked incredible. So hope to see that car back in competition.
Yeah, and Diego Higa most recently was out at Apple Valley with pro skateboarder Leticia Buffoni. She's built a car. So, yeah, so a couple Brazilian drivers. Here we go. Rome Sharpen's here. Let's see what we got. A little bit of a handbrake pull, but he is flying earlier. Oh, perfect. See, that's the nice kiss.
Yes.
That's what we're looking for. Wasn't a big slam. Now, outside third, outside zone. Talk about confidence. A little bit of hesitation on the transition going to the touch and go, but I really like that. BC Racing go for gold. He's going for it. I'm telling you. What did I say? Right? Like, Rome was one to watch.
Yeah.
Watch that little kiss. That's a love tap, not a hate tap. When you go deep, that's a hate tap. I hate that back end of this car. I'm going to beat it up. That was a love tap there from Rome Charpentier.
That was perfection on outside zone 1. Just that light graze of the bumper on the wall. Watch right here. You can see they're slowing it down for us. This is beautiful. This is art. Look at that. Just a nice little touch right there. Good transition. Could have been a little bit more dynamic.
Yeah.
I love that word on the transition, but got sort of close to outside zone 2, a little bit off of 3, but really tight on the touch and go, and a decent job there getting through the finish line. So he's going to lose a couple of line points. So watch here on outside zone 3. A few feet off. Not ideal, but
I like
still
the
right
flow
out
of
there.
it, though. You can see that smoke trail. Again, smoke is not a judge criteria, but it indicates wheel speed. It indicates being on throttle. Not that, you know, when it breaks up that they're off throttle, but it just, you see it. It looks just, again, dynamic, as you said.
Yeah, he looked really committed in this run. He was on throttle. He was, like you said, that transition to the touch and go, maybe he hung on to the angle a little bit long from outside zone 3. He could have transitioned a little bit earlier, but that was the way that he chose to get through there. Maybe a little more of a quicker rotation, a little bit earlier, let the car carry out a bit in that decel area and then get back on throttle through the finish. Would have been giving him a slight advantage there points-wise, but overall, I think he's going to get a good score.
Yep, 88. An 88 there, going back to the future. An 88 for Rome Charpentier. Congratulations. Saw his mom and dad earlier, and even his aunt coming from Monterey, California. They're here cheering him on. Shout out to Adam Jabe. What's going on, Jababy? Also, Ren Kirkham. I know you're watching at home with your dad, James. How's it going, Rennie? And now we are getting back to the start line, and a local driver from right here in Long Beach, Strong Beach, California, Kyle the Menace Mohan. The KMR Renewable Lubricants Mazda Tricks Mazda RX-8. His dad Joe, all up in his cerebellum, wrapping out with him. Let's see what's Kyle Mohan's got. Comes out and starts chicane. No cone penalty in qualifying, so he is fine. He keeps on and continues on into that first outside zone. Goes into the second. Good place in the vehicle. Woo. Yeah. Again, the lone rotary, the lone starfighter into that final inside clip. Great placement of the car. The speed is not an indicator. Visually, it looked a little slower, but that allows him to place the car a little better. When it comes to head-to-head, could get precarious, but regardless, line, angle, style, does it have it all?
He had a little bobble there after initiation. You can see the car had a bit of an angle disruption. Line-wise, though, great on 1, great on 2, pretty deep, right out to the wall on 3. So let's watch here on 3 with this camera view. This is the ideal one. You can see his car is wavering a little bit, but look at the wall. Just a slight touch there. Kind of got into it at the latter part of the zone, but got the line figured out again from 3 to the touch and go to the inside clip to the finish. So overall, he wasn't looking strong in practice. We were saying he looked great last year here in competition. Yep. And then in practice, he wasn't looking so confident, but he really placed the car where it needed to be placed here when it mattered. So this is what's important, and good for Kyle. It looks like a solid run.
You take Mohan's name out your mouth, Ryan.
Ooh, Jared, that's dangerous.
That was a reference.
That's a dangerous reference. I was wondering if you'd make that reference.
Oh, for sure.
Here we are.
You take it out your mouth, Ryan.
All right.
Okay. What the 5 fingers say to the face? Slap.
I gave him 36 online. I'm going to change the subject. I was impressed with his line there. You're right that the pace overall throughout the course was not as high as we've seen, and that can come to play a role in tandem competition. So here in qualifying, though, and in tandem for that matter, we do not have a speed requirement, but it can mean that in the chase he's going to have a hard time keeping up to the lead, and when he's in the lead, the chase car is going to have a, kind of get bunched up behind him if that's the case. But hopefully the score works out well from here.
And it does, an 80. That's an 8-0 there for Kyle the Menace Mohan. He's rocking those Federal tires, so congratulations to Kyle. A great score. He finds himself in the 11th position. So looks like I looked over and saw his dad. He gave me a little fist pump, so he's feeling the flow right now. Little Tex Nate Hamilton watching at home in Texas. As next up, a new car, same driver, same full pull hole. We got Taylor Hull, Comp Cam's Lukamali, Yellow Speed Racing Corvette.
Good looking car, Jared.
Yeah, I love it. And another, the Cadillac ATS-V homage livery. Dale Earnhardt, the Intimidator, always loves them. And guess what? This is a different Earnhardt livery that he kind of mimicked to pay homage to the Intimidator. 3 ever, not 4 ever, baby.
Three ever. It's a clean build. The car looks great. He's been out here in practice. Stumbled once or twice in practice, but we'll see if he can put it together here in qualifying when it matters. And that's really all that matters. It's what counts. So you need to get through the course and get a score on the board.
Yeah, he's getting more seat time with that car. I saw he went to a couple events back there in Georgia where he lives, so it's good for him to just get track time. And applying what we know, you can only look at the future by looking at the past. The way he developed that Cadillac ATS-V, I think it's going to be a faster learning curve with this Corvette for Taylor Hull.
Yeah, hopefully so.
Here we go, Taylor Hull. Let's see how he goes in that first out. Oh, taps the wall. That's not a zone there, Taylor. Save it for out here. There we go. Now it brings it out. A really long swing into that first outside zone, under the bridge. Now into that touch and go. I like that line that he took there. A little wide around that final inside clip, but overall, he will get a score on the board. I haven't seen anybody do that in quite some time.
I don't know if that's my first time seeing a wall tap out there so far beyond the initiation area, but he made it through. He made it work. He got through the entire run, and his line was off at outside zone 1, but look at this little tap right here. Boop, just gets the bumper loose a little bit. Gets out to the area of outside zone 1, but not quite filling it. Transitions here to outside zone number 2, off that zone slightly also. And as he comes around to, let's see here, a little bit of a bobble there, but manages to keep it in drift. Does a good job there of staying on throttle through this area, getting out to outside zone 3, and then transitioning the car. Like you said, his line from outside zone 3 to the touch and go was pretty solid. Like he was off of outside zone 3, but through here to the touch and go, got the car rotated nicely, and then was off slightly at inside clip.
So Taylor Hull will get a score, and as you said, just a unique setup.
And that's a big change going from a Cadillac ATS-V to a Corvette.
Yeah.
Seating position, not only height-wise, but also relative to the rear wheels, and just the whole flow of the car is going to feel very different.
Yeah, the whole dynamic, the whole setup. And again, it just really comes down to seat time, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what Taylor Hull can do with this new Corvette and this new build.
And we know what Corvettes are capable of. We've seen them in the series before. Matt Field is in one now. Dirk Stratton was in Corvette.
Joao
Barillon, although he's in a C7, but still the same car. Very, very successful with those cars. So.
Yeah, they weren't like asking. So a 71 there for Taylor Hull puts him in 17. They weren't. So when it comes to having the perfect drift car, it comes down to the aftermarket and the support you're going to have. It's great to do something unique, like an Aston Martin, like a Ferrari, right? Like an exotic car, or just a new car. You're developing on the go. The Corvette didn't really have the aftermarket to support it as a competitive car. Over the last, I'd say 5 years, it's really progressed. I mean, Dirk Stratton, when I first saw him at LS Fest, was really amazing to see him. Obviously, Matt Field, second overall in the championship. That's a good look for him. But just the vet overall.
Yeah, what I've heard is that they're very grippy right out of the box. You can get in them, you put an angle kit in and a handbrake, and you're ready to go. You can keep up with some much faster cars and have I think a good platform to build on. And they're relatively affordable now compared to what you'd think, especially if you go back to a C5 Corvette with the LS1 engines, it's little less power, but way, way cheaper than you'd expect.
And again, the aftermarket there to support it. All right, here we go with the Masuyama, the Buy Now Japan Nissan Sylvia S15. He came on strong late in the year last year, so hopefully he picks up where he left off, and he gets into that wall. He backs it in, which throws him off that second outside zone. Could have been closer on the third. Now that touch and go, ooh, he was flirting that wall, man. We've seen that wall take people out. Yeah. Where just that knuckle right on the wall, because it kind of juts out, so you could really take yourself out.
That was a lovely initiation. I don't know if you were paying attention to that one.
No,
the way the
I
car
was.
rotated, that was really, really nice, but he just misjudged it and went a little bit too deep. And he's had a few issues in practice earlier today where spun out in the chute here and then one time spun and actually went into the wall before outside zone 2. So I'm glad that he was able to get through the run here. You can see that he angled up just before the hit and then was off quite a bit on outside zone number 2. A little bit closer than 2 on 3, and then pretty darn close to the touch and go, like you said. He got right out there to the wall. So let's watch this from the drone. You can see here as he goes into the wall, it does affect the angle of the car, and then his transition is sort of stepped. It's not perfect because of that, but he managed to stay in drift, so he's going to get some deductions on points, but at least he made it through and made it across the finish line in one piece.
Masuyama from Japan, another person we love from Japan tuning in, Robbie Nishida, Bushido Blade, watching from Japan. Shout out to Robbie. Got friends watching all over the world right now. Aaron Busby watching from UK. Hashtag again FDLB. All right. And there it is. That is the score of 73, a 73 for Masuyama. Nice job there as we're working our way through the drivers. Remember, everybody gets, so again, to remind you of the format, every single driver in attendance has one run and they can be one and done, meaning that if they get you don't want to be in the bottom 8. That's the position you don't want to be in. The position you do want to be in is above that. And again, so mathematically showing up, we're 34 vehicles, but we already have 3 incomplete. So get a score on the board, you're going to be in. The other scenario is, again, so some drivers one and done. Ryan Turk, he's done. He's parking. We won't see him until tomorrow. The bottom 8, not so great 8, they have to do a do or die, a sudden death, an LCQ. Again, the K&N knockout qualifying. So then they have to put on a score to just get them in those bottom spots. But if we have 34 drivers, that means 2 will be watching from the sidelines. Jonathan Castro, we talked about this round before we went into qualifying. Good looking car aesthetically, but even more importantly, performance. The car looks smooth. He's now running that Toyota GR Super engine under the hood. It was operated by Papadakis Racing. 3-liter, not stroked out 232, a very competitive, aggressive format. Here comes Jonathan Castro from Dominican Republic. So, Methyl Dom, Toyota GR86 gets all the way out there. Snaps back in the second outside zone. That was a great initiation from Castro. Now brings it into that touch and go around that final inside clip. Bang, there you go. So I'd say bookend wise, really good initiation. Also really good inside clip. In the middle, you know, where the meat and the cheese and all that, the burger, you know, the buns was good. The filling, you don't need a little more animal style, you know what I mean?
What you can say about Jonathan Castro is that he truly looks confident in the car now. And it's something that you couldn't always say about the old GT86 that he was driving in previous years.
And Eve Meyer. Right?
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, but he just looks so good in this car now. He looks like he's able to get on throttle and throw the car out to where it needs to be. Look at how close he gets to the wall here.
So good.
Gorgeous outside zone 1. A little bit off of 2, but on throttle, not hesitating. No handbrake pulls, no bobbles in the steering. He's on throttle. He's committed. And yeah, he's off of this one considerably, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's
but
3/4 of the
in
car.
terms of how he's driving the car, he looks like a different driver altogether, and it's truly the car, I think, that's giving him the confidence to drive the way that he is today. Like, that was a great initiation. He's on throttle all the way out to the outside zone. You can see that his angle was pretty much set. He wasn't really adding angle to get out to that wall to try to reach out there. He does need to be more accurate, but looks phenomenal in terms of comfort out there on the track.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And I really think that Castro driving more in his home country of DR, He's getting more seat time. I believe he's got 86 out there. He's been working with Toyota heavily for quite some time now. So it's great to see Castro, like you said, get that confidence, get the car. Not to take anything away from his 86, because again, notably, you know, Castro and James Dean was one of the best runs of all time in my mind. I mean, gun to head, most memorable Formula Drift run of all time.
Yeah, it was fantastic. I bring it up often, and people say it's one of the most memorable for sure. The way that it was, the way that he positioned his car and got on throttle just at the right time, and it looked phenomenal for sure.
Ryan cried a little bit. Sage did.
Did he?
Yeah, he seriously did get emotional. I remember.
Oh,
no, Ryan's over here trying to justify him crying. Ryan, it's okay. You can cry.
You can cry.
Men can cry. It's an 82. It was an 82, but Ryan was emotional because of the passion that Castro was exuding after that.
Right, during his interview. Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. All right, talk about another veteran here, Kenshiro Gushi. That Toyota Gazoo Racing Toyota Supra, Kenshiro Gushi. He was looking good in practice. He had quite a bit of gremlins in 21.
He did.
22, new goosh, new year, new goosh. The goosh is loose. Here we go. What do you got for us? Kenshiro Gushi. Again, a day oneer since 2004. A little bit of handbrake pull there. Maybe set himself up for success. Yeah, he does. About a foot off. Ooh, gets tight. Look at that kind of. He did have a little bit of a step transition that second outside zone, but I like this. Good line. Hear him lift off throttle, throws him off of that last inside clip. But as I said, get a score on the board. You're gonna be in the head-to-head competition due to the 3 incompletes that we've seen already. Kazuya Taguchi, no show. Travis Reeder, no show. Jeff Jones goes into the wall. So that does clarify. Oh, Justin Pollock too. Justin Pollock has an incomplete.
That's right. That's
4, thank you. Chris Ewell signaling to me. What do we got here, Montaigne?
Pretty decent initiation. You can see a little bit of wavering in his car as he goes outside zone 1. Transitions to 2 where he's nice and close on the wall. Maybe a little bit towards the end of outside zone 2 getting close, but great line nonetheless. Zone 3 was a little bit off as well, and he could have been tighter on inside clip 1, but he's got a run in the books here that should give him a decent score. Now, watch right here on outside zone 2. Got close there, but was kind of near the end of the zone as opposed to filling the zone. So line is going to suffer slightly there, but overall, I think it's a decent run. It was smooth, it was fluid, and let's watch here on outside zone 3. The angle's nice through there, but could have been closer. And I think, like we've said, it's kind of the story of today is drivers not getting all the way out to these most important areas of the track. Zone 1, 2, and 3. Line points-wise, it's 10, 10, and 10, so it's a huge chunk of points that they're leaving on the board.
Do you think it's by choice, or do you think the course setup right now is grippy, and the cars are gripped up, and the course is grippy, that it's not allowing them to go out, or do you think they're just saving the car, get a score in the books?
That's hard to predict. I don't know. It seems unlikely that they're doing it on purpose because everybody wants to qualify well. The top 3 points, top 3 qualifying positions have points now.
Yeah.
So you want to be high. Here we go.
79 for Ken Gushi, so puts him into 14. Yeah, reiterate that. So qualifying, because last year was more, it was just about position, but you're saying that this year there are points at stake.
Yeah, for the top 3 qualifying positions, you will actually get points this year. So that, I think, is going to, for the guys that are qualifying well often and finishing high often, it can make or break their season, really. If you get an extra point or 2 in qualifying a couple of times, it's really going to give you an advantage.
All right, from Japan now to Italy. Here we go. They got that of Federico Scerifo in a vehicle Fiorella. A brand new livery, looking good, feeling good. And I'll tell you what, this car sounds different. Do you know the modification that he changed from 21 to 22?
I do not. All I know is the new livery that you can see there that's borrowed from a racing F40, which looks fantastic. But his car doesn't seem to be really getting into the line. That's unfortunate.
So looks like Federico, a lot of excitement, great looking car, always got a smile on his face. And again, congratulations to him for picking up that new livery. It is round 1, but that Pennzoil vehicle,
so I heard that this year the car is turbo.
Yep. That's what I thought, but I just had to clarify with you, but you didn't really clarify that for me.
But Chris clarified it for me, and then
Chris
I
Ewell
clarified it for you. So.
And I think there's clarification. I think we're all clear on this.
Yeah, pretty clear.
For clear, dry eyes, use So unfortunately, Federico Sharifo, that'll be another incomplete. So that's 5 incompletes. And that will just, you know, shake things up quite a bit. So Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, we talked about Reynolds' car being on a boat.
Yeah, Josh Reynolds, his car, it's on a boat.
It's on a boat, floating out in the ocean.
He's on a dolphin doing flips.
It sounds like it got on the wrong ship and ended up in the Caribbean for some reason.
Yeah, his car is having martinis somewhere. Not martinis, sorry, more like daiquiris.
Daiquiris down south, yeah.
All right, so next up, we got Ryan Littoral. There's Federico Sharifo. And there is our leaderboard, as you said, Ryan Turk, Field DeNova. You know what, so I am mistaken. I said that if you get a score, you're in. That is incorrect. I apologize, because the incompletes, obviously, but you need a higher score. So this is where we get into the bubble. So low scores like that 68 or 69. So 69 of Eve Meyer, 68 of Simon Olsen. And if you're low, yeah, so look at all those incompletes. So
6 incompletes.
6 incompletes. That, you know, they're definitely going to the second run. But as you can see, that 68 of Simon Olsen and the 69 of Eve Meyer, if it was over right now, those are the 8 that would go.
Right.
So basically, you want a 70 or higher right now.
Right now.
And you don't want anybody else to be, yeah, you want a 70 or higher.
And we do have quite a few runs
it.
left to go here that could score above 70, which would make that
solidify that more.
Actually go higher.
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
But no, you just want a 70 because we have 6 incompletes and the lowest score is 68. So, yeah. And then you carry the
that's
1.
Solid. Okay.
All right. So we talk about the championship. It begins here. It ends not too far from here at Irwindale, California. Multiple champions over now 18 years. This is our 19th season. James Dean, notably, The Machine, back to back to back. This is a film that was created by a director and talks about James Dean and his story. Really cool. I've watched the majority of it. I want to watch the whole thing. Grab the popcorn, and it's a documentary film just about James Dean, his struggle, his effort, and just going and really putting it all together for James the Machine Dean. Clipping Point, available now at clippingpoint.film. Definitely watch it, download it. It's really well done. Really well done.
I will have to check it out, Jared. I'm kind of off of the social media now, so I don't catch these things anymore.
Yeah, you've gone analog.
You'll have to start texting me about it.
Send me, you have now message pigeons, right? And smoke signals.
Smoke signals mainly.
Okay, yeah. And you're the most analog Canadian I've ever met.
Oh, here we go, another car.
Here we go, back at the action. We got that of Ryan Littoral. That Power Stop Brakes Nissan S15 from Riverside, the IE. Woo, there we go. And that first outside zone, aggressive with that flick. Now that third outside zone, is off the wall quite a bit. Now into that touch and go, into that final inside clip. Another driver who just had a black cloud over his vehicle and his program last year. No, not this year. He's back, and I believe he runs a 2JZ, right, under the hood? Is it 2J?
I think it's a 2J, Jared.
Oh, okay, got it. My bad.
It's
an RB. It's an RB. My bad. Sorry, Ryan.
There may have been some controversy about that last year, some tete-a-tete arguments. But anyway,
it's fun. It's internet banter.
He did a great job there on outside zone 1. Could have been a little deeper on 2. Definitely off of 3. Again, this keeps coming up. So watch here as he comes all the way out his little bumper flare up there in the corner. Just sort of almost got to the wall. But zone 3 is the main issue here line-wise. He's going to lose quite a few points right there on that.
Considerable.
He was off the touch and go. Maybe a couple of feet off of the inside clip. So right here on outside zone 3, you can see there quite a bit off of outside zone 3. Transitioning to the touch and go, also off at inside clip 1. Maybe about 2-3 feet off of that one as well.
Love the style though.
Yeah.
That going from inside clip 1 under the bridge, that looked really dynamic. That looked fun. That was, X factor. But unfortunately, with going off the line and a considerable amount of points, 40. For line, that's where you're going to have a missed opportunity. But
yeah, and it's so important points-wise now with 40 points that it's what drivers should be focusing on, is getting their car positioned in the proper spot on the track. And it could just be that the track is gripped up. That could be as simple as that. And maybe it was loose earlier today, and drivers have their setups for that track condition, and now it's changed, and it's not quite what they were hoping for.
We have 6 more drivers. We are working our way through it. All right, Ryan Littoral gets an 80. That's an 8-0 for Ryan Littoral. That puts him into 14th position. That's a score of 8-0 for Ryan Littoral on his Power Stop Brakes Nissan S15.
So up next, we have our 2 international drivers plus our 4 rookies that are going to be the next 6 drivers up. So Joao Barillon has driven in FD before, and then, of course, the last 5 will be rookies with Darren Kelly in there as well.
Joao Barillon, you know, notably in that Hyperdrive show on Netflix. You've been there to Brazil and seen him drift.
Quite a while.
Quite a few times. Right now, he says the car. Talked to him Wednesday. He says the car's got more power. I'm feeling good. He's back. The cowboy, the sheriff, Joao Barillon. Woo! Taps that wall aggressively. Ping pongs into the second outside zone. That's really good execution on third outside zone. Like I said, confidence in his corner. Says the car has got a lot. Ooh, that's a wide swing on that inside clip.
Yeah.
I think he was just like, wow, I'm doing it. Oh no, I got to do this last clip. And just kind of, maybe he was buffering there just a little bit and finally locked it in. But it's a really good run for Joao Barillon.
Yeah, he really buried the back of the car in outside zone 1. So let's watch the replay here. I don't know.
Would you say he Barilloned it in there?
He Barilloned it. So you can see there the back of the car crushed significantly as he went into outside zone 1. Outside zone 2, nice and tight. And he went deeper than we've seen in a long time in outside zone 3. He held onto the angle there. You can see it kind of straight, not straightened, but lower angle on the transition. And then had a weird line through inside clip 1. So let's watch here as he buries the back of that car. There were some bobbles, as well, coming up to 1, but definitely stayed on throttle all the way through it. Got deeper into 3 than we've seen, transitioning here, and then going really wide but late after the touch, after the inside clip, putting him on a weird line, trying to get over the finish line with angle. So that's always a concern as well. If you get out wide on that wall before you get to the finish line, you then have to try to drive straight down the wall with angle, and you can see him kind of doing that here with low angle as he gets over there. So that's going to probably be picked up by Chris, the angle judge, as well.
Our 3 judges, Chris Yule, Brian Eggert, and Ryan Lontaine. Ryan Lontaine doing double duty now here in the 22 season, as he is judging, but also my co-host for the entirety of the season, going directly to the judge's mouth, getting the insight, education, information, and of course, entertainment on track. Ticking him off here is Joao Barillon with a 78. 78, so missing line, obviously, angle, and a lot of style. Yeah, style. There's a lot of points being missed there. But, you know, again, not being in the 60s, that helps a lot. So this should land him, I mean, in 16th position. That's great.
Safe.
That's safe.
Safe.
All right, so as you said, 5 more drivers, some more international flair.
And all the rookies are left now.
All the rookies. So we have a 3-time champion, Darren Kelly, and he does road racing as well. So he's not just exclusive to drifting. He's campaigned a GTR, but are you ready for this? We've never had an Aston Martin in the mix. Now this is supercharged V12 Aston Martin, the heart of racing Aston, driven by Darren Kelly from New Zealand. And that first outside zone, the second, a little bit of shimming there in that second outside zone. Now into that third. Bringing it around through the touch and go. Oh, and a hiccup. He does get it around that final inside clip, but way offline, as it sounded like a swarm of bees out here on the streets of Long Beach. Look out if you're allergic. But Darren Kelly, his wife, and his brand new child here at Long Beach. So it's great to just see you know, exotic in more ways than one. I think it's pretty rad.
Yes, it is. So let's look at his run, Jared. Getting to angle here through outside zone 1. Not getting as wide out to those zones as we'd like to see. Right here you can see that his angle is consistent until he transitions, which is good, and then right there the front end looks like it washes out on him. He manages to stay at angle. It will be a deduction on angle through there, and potentially style as well for the you know, how he kind of choked up in that area. So definitely going to lose some points in the X Factor area. Looking at that transition there, it looks like the front end washed out on him a little bit. So let's watch it come through outside zone 3. You're right, it does sound great.
Right.
It's a V12 out of a DBS that was naturally aspirated,
So
and they
sick.
supercharged it
Dude.
to be sent to maintain the sound, so it still sounds great, and I think they did a good job of that.
Yeah, great looking car. Again, the Aston team. Ah, the Finch. What's going on, big doggy? Finiciero. The Finch watching. I don't know if he's in Spain or where he's at, but what do you guys think of this Aston Martin? Let us know. Hashtag FDLB. Again, really cool Darren Kelly. Really, really nice guy. I've hung out with him, partied with him out at Mad Mike's Summer Bash there in New Zealand. Can't wait. Hopefully, fingers crossed, everything's open. Want to make it out to Summer Bash late this year. You've been to New Zealand, right?
No, that's the one that I never had the opportunity to
Dude,
visit, Jared.
my fave. I used to love Hawaii, and then after
you
going
don't?
to New Zealand, the whānau, just the culture there. I love all the Kiwis, and yeah, it's awesome. So yeah, looking forward to it.
And Darren drives a GTR, I believe, in New Zealand, right?
Yep. Yeah, both in wheel-to-wheel racing he did for a while, and in drifting. He's got a
And now
bonkers GTR.
Most recently, he's been racing for Art of Racing in an Aston Martin, right? In a GT3 or 4, and that's what this car is an ex-GT3 or 4 car.
Yeah.
I think GT3 car, and then they put a GT4 front end on it because they made the front end so wide.
Huge.
It is, yeah. And that engine is not, they never sold a new Vantage with a V12. There's a new one coming, but it's not out yet. 57.
So yeah, unfortunately for Darren Kelly, that's a 57. He's way offline, and you can just see all the missed opportunities there. I mean, angle, that's 18 out of 30. Style, 14 out of 30.
Yes.
25 out of 40 online.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
that's gonna, put him in 25th position, and that's gonna be, on that bubble. That's the low point, right?
Well, this is what happens when you end up coming to this round with a brand new car and you haven't really had the chance to test it, and it's a non-traditional drift car that you can't just bolt a bunch of parts that you know work and find a setup somewhere to get it working. This is all, they're figuring it out as they go.
All right, Josh Love, my fellow deadhead here. Yes, Josh Love going for it. That After Hours Autosports Big Duck Club running some Holly Performance goodies. Yes, everybody wants a little loving in their life. Josh Love is here to deliver it. Atta boy, Josh. Josh Love, Denver, Colorado, After Hours Autosports, E46 BMW. Solid run from Love.
It really was. So let's check out outside zone 1. As he comes around here, decent initiation. Maybe could have had a quicker rate to angle, but gets right out to the wall, just kind of scraping it there with the bumper. A little bobble at outside zone 2, not quite as wide as he could be there. Not quite as wide as he could be at outside zone 3, but on throttle, decelling the car where he's supposed to, and really using the car to, like the momentum of the car, sorry, to get through the track. So outside zone 1 is definitely the best part of his run here. The way that he got out there, really maintaining the angle of the car, staying on throttle, staying committed, and kind of trusting the process through there, knowing that he was just going to scrape that bumper.
Look at that. He did step it out a little further on that second outside zone, going to 3.
Yeah. But he's definitely going to get full points on outside zone 1 for the line. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
And I like the style. I thought the style was aggressive. It, had a couple corrections there. Like I said, that not a total stepped, but just, could have been more fluid. But
yeah, sometimes you can see that the driver's controlling the wheel a little too much. Maybe that's maybe a lack of confidence in what the car is going to do, or just trying to stay fully 100% in control. And that is apparent sometimes. Whereas other times you can see that the driver's just letting the car swing from side to side.
74, Josh Love, he's in a comfortable position. I always say just unofficially, but Josh Love, 31 out of 40, and style, I thought he'd get a little higher, 19 out of 30. It's not the prettiest, as one would say. X Factor, dude.
X Factor. Sounds like a new TV show.
Yeah, there is.
Is that what the show's
I think
called?
there is one. Yeah, there is. All right, here we go. Nick Novak loves Nickelback, but guess what? Bringing sexy back, Nick Novak. Coro Works, GT Radial, BMW. Oh boy, that's shallow. That's shallower than a kiddie pool right there. Oh, Novak goes deep. Oh my goodness. Oh, look at this. Look at this photograph.
Don't you dare.
What?
Don't you dare.
What? You love Nickelback. Love them. Aren't they Canadian?
They are Canadian.
Yes. Told you, I knew it.
That is an incomplete. I'm going to push my incomplete button here.
Oh, unfortunately, Nick Novak. Look at this unfortunate score for Novak.
So watching the replay, watching it live, I mean, when we had the camera on the initiation, it looked like a really good initiation, but what is hard to really see is where that initiation is going to take you on the track. And you can see he was way inside of outside zone 1. When he comes out to outside zone 3 here, he kind of misses the beginning of the zone, but as he gets to the end of it, that's where he gets really close up to that wall, and you can see that it affected him pretty seriously. So here it is from a different perspective, getting out to outside zone 3, and he may have expected that the wall to catch him a little bit more, and then it didn't, so he ended up over-rotating in that area, and it unfortunately wasn't able to connect outside zone 3 to the touch and go and straightened up before getting there. So that'll be an incomplete for Nick Novak.
My Nick Novak, unfortunately, not getting a score. Have you heard that song?
Unfortunately. Oh, this one? Yeah.
My Nick Novak. All right, here we go. We're moving on. Two more runners here, and we got Mike Power, another Formula Drift pro rookie, 4 entering the picture.
He was looking really solid in practice today, Jared.
Power's looking good, and he's making a lot of content, having a lot of fun. Little motivational Mondays, even put just things out there, and just really going for it. So excited to see how Mike Power does. And as you said, never had a pro spec round here, so this is their maiden competition voyage coming into what I have called the gauntlet. You start the season, you got the silly season, and then throw you into the most treacherous track ever, unforgiving. Mike Power, let's see what you got. Power Racing Nissan Silvia from Port Jeff Station, New York. Into that first outside zone. Could have had deeper angle. Definitely has the line. Gets out to that third outside zone. See how he handles and manages. Touch and go. Always love the Silvia. Oh, boy.
That's not going to work. And that's what I was talking about earlier, Jared. You get to that wall too early, you have nowhere to go. And like you called this track unforgiving, that is the best way to describe this track.
Right.
It is unforgiving. There's nowhere to drop a tire with the rear of the car anyway off the course because it's just surrounded by walls.
Yep. So
he was looking really solid here. Right at outside zone 1, there was a deduction in angle. I don't know if he thought maybe he was going to get out to the wall too much, but got a bit of a correction there. But right here was a little bit early on the transition to the touch and go and didn't have the momentum to carry him wide before the inside clip. Ended up early apexing the inside clip and going directly to the wall. And instead of smashing into it, rightfully, he controlled himself there, stayed off the wall, but unfortunately straightened, which is going to cause him to have an incomplete.
Yeah, and I'm just looking. We have 6 incompletes so far now. Because right, I got Jeff
Should
Jones.
be up to 8 now, no?
I believe. Oh yeah.
Here's the leaderboard.
Kazuya Taguchi. My bad. So yeah, taking a look at the leaderboard, and that'll be the true indicator there. You can see Love with a 74 sitting in 20th. There are 7 incompletes. Thank you.
Okay.
Just taking a look at my notes. So again, now so Kelly, Darren Kelly, he's pretty much on the bubble. Because again, we're taking the bottom 8, and we have Stuckey. So, but Stuckey hasn't run.
Oh, they put an incomplete there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Stuckey hasn't run. Mike Power just ran. So here we go. Last driver of their first qualifying run. Again, unofficially, we'll see who we take, but obviously incomplete. You'll go to your second run. Stuckey Racing M-Spec Performance. Calls us the S14.9 from Minnesota as well. Let's see what Stuckey's got. Our final driver for their first qualifying run. Coming into view, pretty shallow on that first outside zone. Let's see if he can get it closer to the second, and he does. You saw him just kind of slide the back end there in that second outside zone into the third. And look at Stuckey. Looks like he is going to be getting the right I mean, that's going to be higher than a 57. It's definitely not an incomplete. Stuckey, I believe, again, unofficially, will find himself into head-to-head competition tomorrow. So we'll take a look at this. And here it is, Ryan, once again. What are we looking at here? What do you think?
So there was a bit of a stepped initiation there, or maybe it was just a bobble and angle just after initiation. You can see the car moving around a little bit, and just off of some of the zones here and there, line-wise, angle you can see at the finish line there, reduced amount of angle, didn't really carry that angle from touch and go to inside clip to the finish, which is what we're looking for. You can see there that his angle sort of adjusted as he was getting to outside zone 1, but transitioning to outside zone 2 is where I think he had the best part of his run. He was closest there. You can see outside zone 3 there, leaving a little bit of a gap, and then transitioning to the touch and go pretty tight there, and then just slightly off of inside clip. So like I said, just leaving a couple of points on the board here and there, but overall a pretty good run.
All right, so Stuckey, as you said, Ryan, thank you for breaking that down. I'm really liking the flow here, getting your insight, you're hitting your tablet here, registering your points and giving some education and insight in a judge's mind. Because, you know, previous years, Ryan Sage and I would be calling the action. We'd tap on Lantaine to give us some insight, but now Ryan Lantaine and you know, if need be, tomorrow we'll obviously get some insights. Yeah, and are you gonna come back and hang out with us tomorrow? I hope so. Remember, tomorrow is what Ryan Sage would say, the essence of drifting, head-to-head competition. Question is, what 32 drivers are we gonna see, or is it gonna be less? So an 81. That's an 81 for Daniel Stuckey, an 81 for the M-Spec driver. So that solidifies his spot into head-to-head competition.
That's a nice score.
That's a great score.
Yeah, definitely a nice score.
That's momentum going into tomorrow.
You know, you want to say
do this.
It's a great score, but it's a really great score for a rookie here at this track.
Facts.
First time competing here, first time qualifying. So good for Daniel Stuckey.
Kudos to him.
Yes.
Kudos. Stuckey is stoked. Stuckey is stokey. I think so. It's the Big Steve's hyped on it.
So this is where we now figure out who are the bottom 8.
Yep.
And we'll have them coming back out to do another lap. Try to get themselves cemented in for tomorrow's top 32 battles.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Tomorrow, as we said, the forecast is going to be absolutely crystal clear. It's going to be a beautiful day. Again, happy April Fool's Day. Just got to have some fun with it. Right, Ryan? Did you try to trick anybody?
No.
No?
I didn't. But I'm glad you did. You did a great job.
Thank you. People are really mad at me that I... And some people are stoked that I was no longer announcing Formula Drift.
Who would possibly think that, Jared?
You, Ryan. I saw you slide into those DMs and said, yes.
I'm going to take your job. Maybe Bill will take your job.
Yep.
So I'm eyeballing you right now.
Yep, the bearded one, Bill.
How was your off season, Jared?
What off season?
You didn't have an off season?
I mean, I had one yesterday, went golfing, so that was cool.
Oh.
But yes,
you had 1 day of off season between.
No, I had multiple days of off season. I've had a great time. Been traveling and working, you know, just doing some Hot Wheels stuff and doing some Harley stuff and Snap-on stuff, and got up to San Francisco last week for Sail GP. That was fun.
Wow,
that was pretty cool, and yeah. So, yeah. Well, again, thank you. I appreciate Ryan. But guess what? When we come back, we'll make it official, find out who our bottom 8, a.k.a. the not-so-great 8. They are forced to complete a second run to potentially be in head-to-head competition tomorrow, because there's 2 incompletes, you're out. There might be a bye run. We'll see. So, again, and if you have a score from your first run, you might be able to better it, but it'll still hold. When we come back, we'll see the not-so-great 8 here in the K&N Filters knockout qualifying here at the AutoZone Streets of Long Beach, presented by Type S Auto.
Link is the engine management solution for champions the world over. We know what it takes to win. Pushing boundaries, performing under pressure, and having the best people on your team. Our tech support are performance specialists, available 24 hours and ready to talk one-on-one about your winning formula. Link ECU. the performance, reliability, and power to get to the podium.
How does one car going wild in the mall help us tell the GR story?
You're right.
We need more cars.
My name came up a lot of sounds, more when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about.
The Falcon Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falcon Azenis RT660.
When I'm flying, I put my helmet on, my visor down, my mask up. You don't know who I am. Whether I'm African American, Asian American, Hispanic, white, male or female. You just know I'm an American airman kicking your butt. I'm General C.Q. Brown Jr. Come join us.
When you have a lot of money tied up in your transmission and differential in your car, kind of like I do in this one, this is a must-have. Royal Purple Max Gear High Performance Gear Oil. Even under severe squeeze film conditions caused by sudden shock, extreme high loads, or low RPMs, Max Gear helps reduce bearing wear. I am pretty sure we put this to the test more than anybody else. Slippery, synthetic, and complete with Centerlick technology, Max Gear reduces wear and friction, which allows your gears to run smoother, quieter, cooler, and longer. Drift tested and ready for your gears. Royal Purple Max Gear.
I need all the wins, yeah. Ain't no else, I gotta get a no call to quit, yeah. Gotta keep on moving no matter how hard it gets, yeah. Better move out the way, cause I'm coming with harder hits. My head is as hard as a brick, but I'm harder than all of this. You better move, you might get knocked out. 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 My heart on my sleeve, stress, shield my greed. That's how I get it. Success ain't no given. Some days I don't eat, I don't sleep.
So last year, 2021, we did a lot of cool things with Permatex, and 2022 is going to be no different. Let me give you a rundown of what we got coming up this year. Formula D. We got our first podium last year in Seattle with Permatex on board, and that'll be a day I never forget. This year, we've got the blue coming back in a new scheme and to a new venue in Utah. And speaking of Utah, we're going to go back to Bonneville this year. We went out last year and had a really good time. We came 9 miles an hour short of our 200-mile-an-hour goal on this supercharged 1000 Kawasaki ZH2. So this year, we're going to be going back to the Utah Salt Flats to try and beat the salt, and we're going 200 this time. Grid Life. So we got a new drift car that will debut soon, but we're going to go to the festivals for Grid Life this year, and we're going to go and drift our faces off. It should be freaking awesome. And 2JZ NASCAR, we had considered making this one drift, but after our Grid Life event last week, we had so much fun grip driving it. We really just want to keep this thing as a grip car and go and explore some new tracks and see what kind of content we can make with it. Lastly, and this is going to be kind of a great way to end the year, we're going to go lemons racing. So me and a couple of my buddies, we're going to go out to the racetrack and we're going to take this piece of crap Mini Cooper and go and run this thing for a 24-hour lemons race. It should be absolutely hilarious. We have some great sponsors, and with Permatex, they're always down to do different, and we really appreciate that. So we will catch you at the track.
All right, looks like joining us up here in the booth is the driver of that royal purple BMW and driver of many different vehicles, Dylan the Dozer Hughes. Now let's slide over here. Let's make sure we're in the screen here. There we go. Dylan Hughes, great job. You're up here. That means you are not in the not so great 8. You don't have to. You're not going to get knocked out. You're in. What do you make of the track first and foremost?
Honestly, it feels really good. Stoked to be back here in Long Beach, and what an amazing event this is. As usual, feels good to get the E46 back out ripping. We got a fresh 2J in that thing. Of course, royal purple oil in it, and some Falcon tires.
Looks good, man. Yeah, Falcon new edition. All right, so what's this drift car you're buying outside of this? Because you talked about that in that piece. You're on 2 wheels. You're on 4 wheels. You're eating lemons. I'm joking. What's this drift car you're buying as well?
So kind of like I hate to say standard these days, but standard 2J ZS14 we're talking about, and that's just something that we want to go out there and just have some fun at Grid Life, and that's what that's going to be for. So a couple different projects we got going on.
Yeah.
Lemons is going to be hilarious, and I was thinking, Jared, why don't you come out and drive with us?
Dude, I would love to actually. I'm getting to that point. Everybody's asking me, and dude, that would be sick. Oh, that'd
Why
be
not?
rad. Okay.
So here's the deal. There's it's 2 days of driving, 12 hours per day.
Yeah.
So we're talking about breaking it up into a bunch of separate hours. So if you want to come and jam on that thing,
Dude,
let's go.
that'd be pretty sweet. Thank you, bro. I don't know if this is official, but it's forever documented. Who knew that the NASCAR was going to be such a ripper?
Dude, honestly.
Oh, 2J everything.
Well, 2J everything, obviously. So we put that in there last year. We gave it like a nice revamp over the offseason this year, and it's amazing.
Yeah.
So we took it out to Grid Life Willow last week and went and banged on it a whole bunch, and it was so much fun. I was like, man, we were talking about putting a BMW front end on it to make it drift, of course.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you know what, man? Like, I really don't want to.
No.
Like, I really think that we shouldn't. We should just, like, leave this thing alone and just go and have some fun with it. So, that's kind of where the 2J Z240 idea came from, is we just don't want to touch that NASCAR anymore.
And so NASCAR, like I said, you're kind of doing everything, 2J-ing everything. You can't 2J a motorcycle, though, unfortunately.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
Is that a challenge?
I know, right? But Bonneville, you're going back. I know you and Kinnan and the boys and your brother Dayton, you guys are having so much fun. But Bonneville, it beat you. But now you're ready to beat the sand, as you said.
It beat me for sure.
Salt, excuse me.
Well, yeah, and that's all right. So a couple things that we learned about that really is just that ECU is not going to let us go that fast. So we tried getting funky with some wheel speed sensors and all sorts of different stuff. But we came really close. So now that we kind of know the recipe now, and now we can go back, and the bike's geared for about probably 210, 215, which I have no interest in going any faster than that. Everybody's like, oh yeah, you want to go for a record in that class? The record for 1,000cc force inducted is like 275 miles an hour. And I was like, no. That defeats the whole purpose of this. I want to go 200, and then it's like, check the box.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, again, your mom and dad are here, your brother. You got a great support system. Royal Purple's been great. You know, Royal Purple, the official, lubricant of Formula Drift. Synthetic experts.
Of course.
What else kind of you working on? What else am I missing? I feel like we just went through a whole Wikipedia page of everything. But, yeah, I mean, like you said, Grid Life, Lemons, 2 wheels, 4 wheels, NASCAR. I mean, I have some notes here.
Also, we have the blue wrap coming back. That's pretty much what we haven't touched base on. So we have the blue Permatex scheme coming back. It's an updated scheme. It looks amazing with the Falcon Tire logo on the back. So we're excited to bring that to Utah and another round, which I can't remember right now. But
Jersey, maybe?
Jersey, maybe.
Maybe? I don't
Yeah,
know.
so excited to bring the blue car back because we actually got our first podium last year with the Permatex wrap on the car. So I feel like there's a bit of good luck that comes with that. So that's pretty exciting.
All right, you're my boy, Blue. Well, thank you so much, man. And again, congratulations. You're in the mix. You're in the show tomorrow, head-to-head. The forecast is going to be absolutely beautiful, but now we get to see 8 drivers fight for it, and I believe mathematically there's going to be 2 drivers that are going to be watching from the sidelines tomorrow.
Ooh, brutal. Man, I'm just really glad. I'm pretty stoked on that 7th place overall for the qualifying in this session. I feel like I put down a decent lap, put us right there in that 7th place, which is actually pretty good for us, so I'm stoked.
Royal Purple, one last thing. Your Royal Purple teammate, new to the team, Travis Reeder. Do you know what's going on? I saw him. He says the car's just not running. It's not starting. It's not moving.
Some sort of the worst gremlins that there are is the electrical gremlins, where it's like it's not like if you can like fix something with your hands right here in front of you, that's easy. But when it's like something that's in an ECU or a computer, that's where it gets really tricky. So hopefully those guys are down there jamming on it, and I really hope to see those guys out there and lay down a good lap.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dylan. There you go. We'll see you tomorrow. And don't forget to check us out in Atlanta. Get your tickets for Atlanta. Lontaine, get back up here. Dylan, exit stage left. Thank you so much. Again, yeah, get your tickets for Atlanta. I mean, that's about a month away. About a month away, as we will be over there. Ooh, look at that. And there it is. Thank you, Dylan. AutoZone Road to the Championship presented by Type S. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say it. I've said it before. I'll go on record again. Atlanta, my favorite track. I'm just gonna say it. If you haven't been, I'm telling you. So, and oh man, we are hearing that Kazuya Taguchi is out. So what that does is, so with 2 incomplete runs, he's officially out. So that means that, like I said, 34 drivers. Did we do the math? We had 34 entries, correct? So basically we're taking 32, so 2 drivers. I believe it's 34 that entered and showed up here in the building because, and that is
Jeff
Jones right there.
Is that Jeff Jones?
Yeah, so that should be Jeff Jones. So what's interesting here, okay, so Jeff is rip-roaring ready to go. We initially heard that he was going to take a competition timeout, but not the case. And what's important about that, Lontaine, is if Jeff took it right now, you only get one for the weekend.
Yeah.
Not for the day, but for the weekend. So that flows into tomorrow. So if he used it there, something happens tomorrow, he wouldn't have one. Yeah. So Jeff Jones, do or die for him. Get a score on the board. And again, he can't get any higher. Here we go. We'll talk about that in a moment. Jeff Jones looks like he's putting it down a lot more comfortable. Doesn't get all the way out there, but continues on through the course.
That was really wide, Jared.
That was the widest you could be without hitting the tires.
He just did an outside zone on those tires on that last corner. Woo! Wow.
Jeff sounds angry. He's an angry elf.
I think he's happy he just got a run in, and got some points on the board. That was a really wide swing through there. That's risky if you just touch those tires. Anyway, here we go. Initiation, long handbrake pull there, getting the car to angle, off of outside zone 1, off of outside zone 2. Little bit of a slowdown in the rear wheels. The front wheels moved. Yeah, there was a little something there. Transition to the touch and go. Nice and close there, but look how wide he went out to that no man's land. So definitely going to get a low score for the inside clip, which is worth 5 points on line. So potentially a 0 there for that line score. You can see there quite a bit off of outside zone 3. Jeff Jones looks like this is going to be perfect to see how wide he got. A couple of feet off of that tire wall, but still not a place you want to be going. No. There's no rubber down out there at all. Probably a lot of debris, I'm guessing. Debris out there. But he got a run, and he'll get a score on the board.
So Jeff does get a score on the board, which will be good. And I'm guessing that Travis Reeder, who is up next, will not be able to make it to the line. That's what I'm guessing, just going off of what Dylan Hughes says, or is he? He's about to go in the box? Oh, we're hearing that he is ready to go in the box. That's great. Step 1, you put a Travis Reeder in the box. Step 2, you open that box. Then you do a burnout in that box, and Travis Reeder, the speed reader, will be throwing down. All right, Jeff Jones, 61. 61. So again, he can't get any higher than 28th position, or none of these drivers can get higher than 28th.
Okay. So you can make your joke right now that this is he's the highest qualifier.
He's the highest qualifier
of the second grade.
not so grade 8.
Right, of the not so grade 8.
Yeah. Number 1 qualifier. But with that being said, number 1 qualifier of that bottom ranking. So again, nobody can get higher than 28.
Okay. But if somebody can push him down to the bottom of that list, do we know if are we going to have 2 drivers that aren't going to make it in, or potentially not because did somebody bow out? Did you say?
Well,
Taguchi's
yeah,
out.
but on our starting drivers list, there were 3 drivers that failed to make it. Trenton Beecham, Josh Reynolds, and Ola Yeager. That would mean that there were 34 vehicles that showed up, and then some obviously had incompletes, like Kazuya Taguchi. He is out.
He's out.
So basically, yeah, we'll find out. Here we go. That is Travis Reeder. Travis Reeder coming down. Travis Reeder Motorsports, BMW, into that first outside zone in this second. And look, he's back, everybody. That's right. Reeder burned up the GT radials. Now coming into that final inside clip, nails it. Wow. From 0 to hero. From the vehicle not moving to definitely moving all over this track. Well done there by Travis Reeder. Again, from a no-show to all go. Let's take a look at this again here, Lantaine.
Yeah, nice initiation, back on throttle where he should be. You can see him carrying out there. It kind of looked like he was controlling the car a little bit too much going outside zone 1, maybe out of concern for safety, but didn't get all the way out to 1, 2, or 3. Transitioned well to the touch and go, and then pretty close in on inside clip number 1. Finished the track with angle, came over the finish line nice and wide as requested. So let's look at outside zone 3 here. You can see a little bit of adjustment of angle, but overall pretty stable, pretty set, and looking like he's pretty confident through the majority of this run. Just like to see him a little bit closer on zone 1, 2, and 3.
All right, so quickly, we have gone through 3 of the 8 drivers. Do the math, 5 left, 5 left. Tomorrow, this place will be bananas. Banana splits out here at the AutoZone Streets of Long Beach, presented by Type S Auto. The infamous Skyline, the Streets of Long Beach, holding court to Formula One, Champ Car, IndyCar, and now the history of Formula Drift here. 77, so he does eclipse Jeff Jones, moves up to that number 28 spot. So moves, obviously, Jeff Jones down to 29. So, Ryan, if there's 28, there's only 4 spots? 8, 29, 30, 4 spots. That doesn't make sense. Yeah. JTP, Justin Pollock up next. Well, again, we'll get down to it.
Math is not my forte.
No, it is not. Kia is, though. Kia is my forte. Here we go. Justin Pollock, JTP, that Falcon Tires Ford Mustang. There we go. Stays off that wall, keeps it clean. Big angle from Justin Pollock. Look at how much angle he has. And that's the Justin Pollock we know and love. Oh, he took that incorrect line there. Again, you saw him woo and almost drifted into the wall.
Yeah, there was a big lift there through inside clip 1. But JTP, I always love his initiations, the way he swings the car. He looks so confident, and it's so smooth the way he does that little flick and gets the car to angle. This was one of the fun ones to watch. He could have been tighter on or wider on every zone, but did better than a lot of drivers recently have done. So decent initiation there, getting the car. You can see a little bobble, swings the car a little bit more angle at outside zone 1 and 2.
Love this.
Yeah, 3 got out pretty wide. And then gets the car rotated. But right here, he came in way too early on the inside clip. Should have run a wider line by the touch and go and kind of squared off inside clip 1, but instead came in on it really early, kind of had to park the car slightly and then get back on throttle through to the finish. So that's going to be probably on the style judge to get that handled in terms of taking deductions off for that area right there. So let's watch outside zone 3. Great angle on throttle. Again, like to see him deeper, but you can't say anything about it, his throttle commitment and just how comfortable he looks out there on the track.
And he did this, we're reminded that Justin Pollock did this where he had an incomplete on his first run, and then he actually bettered his score on the second run, obviously from 0 to an incomplete to, and he actually got a higher score than the number 1 qualifier on the second run, but you can only be in that lower 8 or whatever is left remaining for the spot. So that was a good run for, I don't think that's gonna beat the, 93 from Ryan Turk, but regardless, an 83, so he now jumps up to that 28th spot. Ryan.
All right, so the next driver up was supposed to be Federico. He called his competition timeout. So right now we have Darren Kelly in the Aston Martin, who will be coming up next.
Yeah, here we go, Darren Kelly. So again, we'll make it official after everybody runs, but we know that factually these are the bottom 8 vehicles. Darren Kelly doing it for the Kiwis, for the Whānau in New Zealand. Again, 3-time drift champion in his home country of New Zealand, bringing out a very exotic car. And you know a lot about these supercars here, Ryan. Just they never made this supercharged V12, GT4 a front end on a GT3. Just an all-around exotic car.
Yeah, there has been a drift Aston Martin in the past. It was the previous Vantage. It was Sultan who built that full crazy carbon fiber car. But this is the first time I've seen an Aston Martin drifting with an Aston Martin engine in it. So
here we go. All right, Darren Kelly comes into view. The heart of racing vehicle. Straightens out, comes out to the outside zone. Now transitions into the second outside zone. Turns up that wheel speed. Keeps it safe, middle of the road. Now coming to that final inside clip. So consistently kind of off each clip the same distance, about a foot and a half off of first outside, second, tighten it up.
The third one was definitely off a lot.
Really shallow.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Very shallow line.
He's looking like he's able to be on throttle more. So let's look here. You can see a bobble and angle there. Then he comes out to outside zone 1, a few feet off of 2. It's outside zone 3 that's the big concern. So you can see there about a car length and a half maybe off of that zone. Transitions here for the touch and go was off that and off of inside clip 1 as well. So really needs to get more comfortable in the car. And this is to be expected. It's his first time driving this car really, considerably. And you're doing it between the walls here at Long Beach. So it's a really tricky, dangerous place to learn a car. You don't really have anywhere to make errors. So I think it's safe for him to be, that tight line on the inside. So if he does end up spinning or going wider than he expects, at least he has some buffer there to play with, because you're better off ending up with a low qualifying score here than wadding the car up and not, and then putting yourself behind for the rest of the season. So definitely a safe way to play it, but he will get a score here at the very least.
All right, so we've seen, we have not seen Fetty. Fetty
Called a competition timeout.
He called the competition timeout.
Yeah, that's correct.
So Federico, we could be going back to him in that Pennzoil, the Fiorella Ferrari. And also we have Novak and Mike Power. And Mike Power, he almost had a great run. It was literally that final inside clip where he almost hit the wall that threw him off. So 62 from Darren Kelly, a 62. See where that lands him. I mean, that is better, fortunately, than Jeff Jones. So we will see. We will soon find out. So I believe, again, I believe there's 6 spots. Don't quote me yet. That's unofficial. But that would mean that if, because Kazuya's out, and then Jeff Jones having a 61 compared to Darren Kelly's 62, that would knock Jeff Jones down too. So again, this is all unofficial.
Yep. So what do we have here?
And right now, I believe this is Nick Novak. Nick Novak on the start line. And Nick, a very aggressive driver, fun driver to watch. Let's see how he handles it. On the second go-round, Novak, man, he is just vomiting smoke out of the back of that CurlWorks BMW on GT radials. He gets past the point of no return. Novak making a lot of noise in pro spec last year and just over the past few years. Soft-spoken gentleman, but as you can see, an aggressive driver. I think he's a little gun shy or wall shy in this instance.
Yeah, definitely. You can see that once he gets the car set at angle and he realizes he's on a safe line, he's on throttle, he's committed, but just not running the widest line possible. There's a bit of a bobble there between initiation and outside zone 1. But like you said, smoke just pouring out of the back of that car. He's on throttle, he's using it. He's just not using it to get the car as wide as he could through the entirety of the course. Good job on the touch and go there. Could be tighter on inside clip 1, but finishes the course, full throttle wide as we expect. So that handbrake pull right there is going to definitely hurt his style score. Something we're not looking for is the handbrake, but sometimes it's needed to try to get yourself back online to potentially get more points. So it's a calculation you have to make, because you're going to lose a point or 2 for the handbrake pull, but maybe it's going to give you a few extra points online.
Well, Ryan, I think our chemistry's working out. I think it's just you and I.
I'm not much of a chemist, but I think it's also a good chemistry.
Okay. All right.
I'm not.
So there, look, okay. I'm trying to give you a compliment. Just take it. Okay. As 3 scores left to go, Federico, Novak, and Power. So as you can see, so there's the 3. So Jones with that 61. Taguchi, obviously, he's out. So it looks like oh, what? And boom, a 73 for Novak. He slides in. Obviously, Taguchi out. So right now, it's basically Kelly and Jones are on the bubble.
Federico
is out.
Oh, that's a shame.
So Federico is out. So Novak and Power.
I can't say I'm not sad that I don't get to hear that Ferrari go ripping around the course again, but unfortunately not going to make it.
Okay, so Power. So Jones is on the bubble, right? Yeah, Jones is on the bubble because Taguchi's out. Fetty is a wash. And then Power's the only one. So basically, Darren Kelly, again, unofficially will be in the competition. Jeff Jones is now sitting in the bubble. Mike Power needs a 62 or better in order to solidify his spot into head-to-head competition.
And if he does that, he will then knock Jones out. Is that correct?
Correct.
Correct. Okay.
That's what I'm seeing here. That's according to. Oh no, Mike Power is calling a competition timeout. Our final driver.
We were close, Jared.
Timeout.
We were close.
We were close, but look at that. There's Mike. Looks like he is
Well, he's taking a competition timeout, so we're going to see him roll back to his pit area, and he's going to. I don't know. It seems like the car's running. Maybe it's overheating. Maybe he's got some other issue that he realizes is occurring with the car, and he needs to have it fixed before his run. This is, like you said earlier, Jared. This is in terms of strategy. Using your competition timeout right now is not ideal for the future. You know, looking forward to tomorrow. But if you don't use it today and your car doesn't run, then there is no tomorrow anyway. So if you have to use it today, if you have to burn it to get into tomorrow's competition, then if that's the case, then you do it just to get in the show and hope that you don't need it tomorrow. But it's like like we said, it's better than not getting in the show at all. So you saw Fetty take it a minute ago as well, but unfortunately it didn't work out for him.
And be sure you enter to win. Enter to win for GT Radial Tires at TireStacks.com. You can see it right there. We got a moment. Go ahead. Type in tinyurl.com/GT Radial. Exclusive for Formula Drift fans, again, for GT Radial Tires, courtesy of TireStacks.com. So the K&N air filters, knockout qualifying, coming down to one driver. Jeff Jones waits in the wings. When we come back, we'll see. Will Mike Power be able to pull up to the line? Will he take out Jeff Jones? Who's moving on? Who's getting left behind? We'll find out when we come back. AutoZone, Streets of Long Beach, presented by Type S Auto. Here at the Streets of Long Beach, of course, LBC.
Link is the engine management solution for champions the world over. We know what it takes to win. Pushing boundaries, performing under pressure, and having the best people on your team. Our tech support are performance specialists, available 24 hours and ready to talk one-on-one about your winning formula. Link ECU, the performance, reliability, and power to get to the podium.
How does one car going wild in a mall help us tell the GR story?
You're right.
We need more cars.
Came up a lot of sounds, more when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about.
The Falcon Azenis RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falcon Azenis RT660.
For those who don't settle when others do, who will give everything but won't give up. For those who believe in unlimited, while others limit themselves. For those who are set free by performance and believe innovation can take you anywhere.
Formula Drift is brought to you by BC Racing, the official suspension of Formula Drift. Go for gold. Falcon Tire. Torque Drift, the official blockchain game of Formula Drift. All right, we are up here in the booth, and again, our fans sticking around to find out where will Mike Power land. We are back here on the Streets of Long. That's you. Yeah, what's going on? So Lontaine, again, we've utilized your know-how, you know, as a judge. How many years is it being a judge now?
This is my 12th season with FD.
No way.
Right. It's crazy
Really?
how fast it goes by.
I've
yes.
seen you grow up.
Really?
I mean, when you first started, you didn't have facial hair.
Well,
and now look how long it is. It's taken 12 years for you to grow out that beard like that.
Yeah. Well, you watched me drive up in Canada years and years and years ago, and then I judged in Canada one season and then jumped here in 2011. Yep.
Well, I think you've been a great addition. I think your efforts towards the refinement of drifting, and alongside Chris Yule, I think Chris brings a different perspective to it because he's kind of younger, fresher, so he has kind of different eyes. You know, and I wanted to say that, you know, obviously with time and equity comes wisdom and knowledge, but also, you know, just seeing certain things, right? And then Chris brings a fresh perspective. Eggert, you know, he's organized Pro-Am events, so it's all just, it all accumulates to the betterment of the sport. So now tapping you to converse with you more, I think it's a great compliment to what we're trying to accomplish here.
Yeah, and it's bringing in, you know, you don't want to get stagnant as you get older and you've been doing this for so long. You tend to stay in the same mindset sometimes, and I'm sure we're all guilty of that to certain extents. But having, you know, Chris come in and Sean come in, you know, Sean's been also doing a lot of different things.
Explain who Sean is and what his role is.
Yeah, so Sean Adriano is, he's competed in Pro 2 back before it was Pro Spec. Sean Adriano Racing. He has also worked for Achilles. He's done tire mounting, he's done mechanics, he's done spotting, he's been a driver, he's done all of those things. So now that we have, you know, Chris's knowledge and different perspective, we have Sean's knowledge and different perspective in our sport here. Sean's going to be our driver steward this season. We brought him in at the end of last season to help us out at Irwindale officially, and now he's officially on for all of this season. So having his perspective and ideas and thoughts and, you know, knowledge of having driven a lot of these tracks as well, it really brings a fresh perspective, and also just the different thought process that we may have gotten in a rut with. You know, it's people coming in and disrupting that and saying, hey, well, have you thought about doing things this way? Have you thought about this? And it's the other, you know what's interesting, Jared, is our relationship with drivers and spotters as judges it's a complex one. It's one that has developed over the years. We've got drivers that have been here longer than I've been here, and then we have drivers that this is their first season. But the ones that have been here for a while, sometimes they feel like they can't talk to us. You know, they feel like if they talk to us, we might not accept what they're saying, or we might judge them differently, or anything like that. So now we have a guy like Sean who knows all of them from before, and he can actually talk to them one-on-one, and he can get authentic conversations from them where they feel like they're in a bit of a safe space with him to talk, and he can relay that info to us. So it's helping us a lot. It's something that you wouldn't think would be so important, but it truly is, to have an open line of communication with everybody within the sport.
Yeah. And overall, you know, just kind of, you know, the overall the course is very exciting. We're overlooking Mike Power here over in the pits, but just I love this course, Long Beach. But like I said, lovingly, jokingly, all seriousness, we have this off season. People prepare their car and come to the least forgiving track of the whole season.
It's the first one, and it's so difficult to get around this track safely and efficiently, for sure.
Yeah. Love Long Beach, and the folks at Throttle FD, our new partner here. Throttle put together some highlights from the streets of Long Beach. We've got the power. Mike Power, that is. He is on the line. He's ready to go. Unfortunately, utilized his competition timeout. But to your point, Ryan Lantagne, you said, look, if you ideally like to save it, keep it in your bank and use it for tomorrow. But if you're unable to run, there's no use in holding on to that. So use it now and hopefully fight for your right to party into top 32. Mike Power from Port Jeff Station, New York. East Coast zone, slides in, comes into view of the fans here. Gets the outside zone, taps the wall. Shreds off that back bumper, gets a little out of shape there. Mike Power fights back into that third and final outside zone, into the touch and go. So line will be affected. So basically, we're looking for, let's just to solidify it, a 61. Higher than a 61, 62, that'll get him in. I think that's gonna be enough.
That was a huge correction there between outside zone 2 and 3. It looked scary for a second. We've seen drivers go straight into this wall in front of us because of that type of reaction from the car. So it was great to see that he controlled it and he stayed in drift, didn't complete, but definitely a risky move. So he got a serious tap there on the wall, and right there, the car straightened up quite a bit, but managed to get through outside zone 3 pretty well, got to the touch and go, and got through the course with angle and got over the finish line. So it'll be a full pull. He's going to get a score, and it's going to come down to how seriously that error that he committed there between 2 and 3 is going to be taken by the angle and the style judge.
All right, so as Mike Power finishes, his easy up is set up. And again, we will see where they land. We'll get the official top 32 after Mike Power's score comes in. Just to solidify, just getting the mid-60s, which I think it'll be enough. Thank you so much for joining us out here for our K&N Knockout Qualifying. Thanks for joining us online. The Streets of Long Beach and the AutoZone Streets of Long Beach, presented by Type S Auto. What's always great about this event. And right in time for happy hour, both today and tomorrow. Remember, we will be back out here next weekend for the Grand Prix of Long Beach. We have our Formula Drift Invitational going down on Friday and Saturday night. Thank you to our corner workers, all the ladies and gentlemen in white. Thank you, Bill, the man with steel legs that used to stand over there and his beard would blow in the smoke and in the sun. Just can't even look at him, can't even make eye contact with him. You turn to stone, that's what happens. But thank you to Cal Club. And guess what? Mike Power gets a 69, nice. Mike Power gets a 69, he does make it in there. And he gets it on in. 69 is fine for Mike Power, and he is in the mix. So we will announce our top 32 online just to make sure who is exactly in. But stoked for Reeder, he got back in the mix. Darren Kelly should be in there, so that's great. The debut of the V12 Supercharged Aston Martin. So again, all unofficial so far. I need to catalog everything and just notarize everything. Ryan, your thoughts on qualifying as we wrap it up. We're back out here tomorrow. Kemp, go and throw up the schedule when we're out here online, but your thoughts on qualifying. Well, first round of the season.
Yeah, well, during the break earlier, I talked to Dylan Hughes, and I said, what is it about the track right now? Is it that it's gripping up and you're not sure about the grip levels and all that stuff? And he said, it is. Earlier today, it was really loose. The cars were like almost spinning out and a couple of issues like that. And
so to Brandon Sorensen's point, that's what he said. He said it was really slick, but then then what happened?
Gripped up. That's what Dylan was saying, that perhaps the way the sun hit the track, maybe it's gripping up a little bit more. And they've already gripped their cars up. So now they're gripped up and the track is grippier. So that's what's giving everybody trouble. But what I'm trying to relate to tomorrow is that I hope that they've learned from today, and that the time that we're going to be driving on track tomorrow, they will have the grip level figured out in their car, how it should be set up, so that they can perform at the level that they want to perform at. Because I guarantee you that a few drivers today in their qualifying were not getting the results that they wanted. Some drivers clearly did. Ryan Turek did an awesome job. He ended up with a 93.
Yeah.
You cannot have any issues with a 93, but I'm sure some of the other drivers wish that their score was higher. Not because we judged them poorly, but because they weren't able to put the car where they wanted to on the track. So that's what I'm hoping for tomorrow.
And like you said, this year, 22, there are points for 1, 2, and 3 in qualifying, exactly. So that contributes. And we saw how every point counted down to Irwindale.
Yeah, so this qualifying session could have a big impact later on in the season once we get down to the, down to Irwindale. It could be, oh man, I wish I'd gotten that extra point or 2 or 3 at Long Beach that could help me out right now. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be a big part of the strategy this season.
Yep. Well, be sure to join us again tomorrow for the continuation of the AutoZone Streets of Long Beach presented by Type S. I'm Jared Deanna. This is Ryan Lontaine. Again, we'll see you online tomorrow or see you right here in the building. Thank you so much. Congratulations. Our #1 qualifier, Ryan Turk. A new dad and your #1 qualifier. Congratulations to him, his lovely wife, Shannon. There we see Chelsea Denofa and all the boys ripping around here. Chelsea digging deep with that RTR Mustang. The boss is in the building. That's a 91 there for Chelsea Denofa. Bongit Jr. is here, and Matt Field, Matt Falcon Tires Drift Cave Corvette. As he had a great score. Matt Field had a 91 as well, but they were all trumped by this boy, Ryan Turk. Your #1 qualifier in that Rain X Toyota GR Corolla just being debuted on Nitto Tires. We'll be back. Can he continue the reign, no pun intended, of terror on his competition? We'll be back tomorrow for the continuation of round 1, the AutoZone Streets of Long Beach, presented by Type S Auto. On behalf of Ryan Lontaine, again, tune in tomorrow starting at 10:30 a.m. Thank you, Chris Ewell. Thank you, Brian Egger. Thank you to the whole Formula Drift team. See you tomorrow. Send it! Formula Drift Nation.
Tell a friend, I should be televised headline and main event. Maybe that's for starters when we at the party. My middle name should be after party. Yo, last name whoa, first name wow. You ain't getting to it, I'm hanging up, don't wanna hang out. Wrong time, right place, baby, watch out. It's about to go down like a knockout. Here we go again. Here we go again. Here we go again.
Link is the engine management solution for champions the world over. We know what it takes to win. Pushing boundaries, performing under pressure, and having the best people on your team. Our tech support are performance specialists, available 24 hours and ready to talk one-on-one about your winning formula. Link ECU, the performance, reliability, and power to get to the podium.
Came up a lot of sounds, more when I was not around. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about. Certain people that I know, they ain't no longer about.
The Falcon Azenas RT660 is the enthusiast choice for ultra-high performance. Engineered for predictable handling and stability, the RT660 provides maximum traction both on and off the track. Your competitive edge has arrived with the Falcon Azenas RT660.
We all know Royal Purple for their exceptional motor oil. They keep my 1,000 horsepower drift car going year-round. And they have an exceptional array of products that help keep your engine's fuel system running clean, powerful, and cool. Royal Purple Max Atomizer cleans fuel injectors to restore maximum flow and get back that fuel economy we all want. Max Clean is a state-of-the-art performance fuel system cleaner that deeply penetrates deposits in your fuel system. Max Clean cleans more parts in your engine and cleans them better. Royal Purple Max Boost is a high-performance octane booster and fuel treatment that helps increase the octane of your fuel. For real. Max Boost is an energy drink for your engine. Purple Ice reduces engine coolant temperatures. It helps prevent overheating and extends the life of your water pump. 4 Ways Purple can help your engine. Royal Purple Performance Products. Find them at an auto parts dealer near you.